make the plan. We are the future. We are the light. With automation in our sights. Certification, the power's real. Certification, the power's real. Certification, power's real. Certification. Certification. Workflow app.ai. Groove to workflow app.ai. All right, everybody, let me know. Let's get rid of this and let's get here. We can close that. And let me stop sharing my screen for just about a minute. And let's see here. First off, can you guys hear me? Do you hear me loud and clear? Let me go to a different view so I can see gallery. Let's see, immersive. Simon, can you pop in for a second? Is this a webinar or a Zoom?
This is a webinar.
Oh, this is a webinar. Okay, so so the only interactivity is going to be with people in the chat, correct? All right. How do I get people in here, like Amanda?
They're already
Amanda's,
in. Yeah.
no, I mean, like, no, I see everybody's here. I mean, like, Amanda is co-hosting with me today.
Oh,
So
then
do I hover over her and make her? Is that what I do? I go to like participants, and let me see if I can find her in here. Amanda Moore, promote to panelist. There we go. Okay. And Simon, if you can drop maybe a Google Doc for everybody. I see that we're going to be doing webinars. I think for workflow app, Simon, I think we'll probably do interactive next time, where they can raise their hand and ask questions and everything like that.
Sure.
Even though I did tell you to make this one a webinar. Now that I'm seeing it, and it's just you and me in here. Hey, Amanda, how are you?
Good. There we go. I am good. I had to
All right.
turn on my mic and my video.
Yeah. So Amanda, you can chill out, mute yourself, take the camera off, and I will probably come back to you in about, I don't know, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. We'll see. And we're going to jump right in with your
Sounds good.
All righty. And Simon, you're using my picture there. Very interesting. Okay. All right. So, okay, everybody, we have 21 people in the chat. Call it 20 because Amanda's going to be actually joining us today as our guinea pig. We've got some cool stuff going to be happening for you today. So let me share my screen again and give you guys some good news. It depends how you see it. So let's find the floating bar here. Allow me to share my screen. Okay, you should be sharing my screen. All right, so let's see. Yep, you're seeing the document, I'm assuming, because I don't see a green highlight on my screen telling me which one I'm sharing. So you're seeing the Google Doc, Amanda? You're on mute.
Yes, I can see
Okay.
it. Sorry.
Okay, yeah, no problem. Normally, Zoom puts a green highlight over the screen that's being shared, so I have no way of knowing which screen is being shared, so I wanted to double check. All right, so if we look right here, I spoke with Matt about this yesterday. I said I wasn't going to bring it up during the call today, and I was probably going to do it next week. But before we got started, I wanted to look and see when Workflow app was sold last year. Not because I'm concerned with when the training ends, because the training never ends, for this reason. In case you forgot, and it's very important that we let you know, Workflow app was a subscription. I think it was $7.97 a year, but I think like 99.99% of you, we only promoted it to Groove people, and we said if you're a lifetime customer, you get it at $4.97. Might even have been $4.79 a year. Let me actually go and check. So if we look at Workflow app, from Groove to Workflow App.ai. Beep, 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 beep. All right. Looks like we have collective mastermind members. They were given $497. Workflow App AI automation. The standard pricing here was, let's see, we have a few different ones. Annual. Okay, so this was yearly. And then this was for people that weren't lifetime customers. Monthly was $149. Workflow App biannual. It was for people that weren't lifetime, they could buy it every 6 months at $497 and $497 yearly. And then let's look right here at legacy. See what pricing we had these called. Don't even know what this necessarily was. And let's just look at the regular pricing here. And I'm going to explain what this all means. I'm going to give you some good news. All right, so this was something Groove marketing platform with AI plan. Didn't even say workflow app. It looks like we never even launched it to the general public. We only launched it to our current customers. So that means, from what I can see here, Workflow App AI automation program pricing for lifetime legacy customers was $497 a year. Okay. Why do I bring that up right now? I happened to see something come in yesterday in billing, and I don't know if it was a test or something. And I said, what? Workflow App. And, we've got a lot of things going on in the company, especially with what we're doing with Scale. And my mom is in the hospital, and she called me and she said, hey, come pick me up yesterday in the middle of doing this. And I had to go pick her up at the hospital at midnight. And I called Matt on the way there and I said, hey, Matt, I just want to let you know, Workflow App is going to be rebilling. And he goes, when? I said, I don't know. I kind of remember October, but could have been September, or maybe we did 2 launches. We did September and October. But I did see something just sort of like rebill. And I don't know if it was like, every 4 months or something. But once I saw something rebuilt, I said, I need to look into this. So what I did is I went in here and I wanted to see how many sales were done. Now, this doesn't give me the total number of actual sales. It just gives me the gross volume. But what you can see was the week of August 21st right here is when the sales started coming in. Okay. And then the following week of August 25th was even bigger. So, this might even have been just a day and the week, whatever the case is. That was all of August. And then I looked at September and I saw, okay, we did 65K in sales in August. And then in September, this looks like the first week it continued. So it looks like it was 3 weeks, like the end of August to the first week of September. And then it kind of like died down a little bit. But then it looks like in October, looks like we did something in the middle of October again. So it looks like the launch was basically end of August, early September, which is what we're going to be doing for Scale, right? And then this looks like it went like right into Black Friday or something here. And here's November. Very small. We didn't do much in November. Then the holiday season came about. We were doing all of our training. I went on the marketer's cruise, and then, welcome to 2025, right? So why am I bringing this up right here? Let me just get a tissue. All righty. Check the nose, make sure we got it all right. Okay, very good. All right, folks. So here's what we want from you here at Groove. All right. We want to have a sustainable company that is paying us $497 a year or $99 a month. We weren't going to resell again Workflow App. When we're doing with Scale, we think, to add FlowWise and N8N with the advancements in AI, we love the training that we do, and we want to continue to do that once or twice a month. But let me cut to the chase here. we would love for you to keep your subscription here, but we couldn't in good conscience ask you to pay for the scale upgrade as well that's coming out next month. That's going to give you all the stuff we spoke about at the State of the Groovian. I think if you came to us and said, hey, Mike, you know, can the workflow app people get the scale and not have to buy again? What I'm going to do for you guys, and just understand, this isn't because you're a lifetime customer of Groove. That was a one-time payment. This isn't because you're a lifetime customer of Groove.ai. That was a one-time payment. Workflow app was a way that we were able to bring some continuity to the company. That's all that we want to be healthy. We don't want to milk you guys for a subscription here and a subscription here and a subscription here. So the good news is, if you see the launch coming up for Scale at the end of October, and I don't know, I think there's 450 of you, I'm not going to ask you to pay for Scale, Scale Plus, and get all of those products. If you continue to do your billing with workflowapp.ai, we're announcing right now, all workflowapp.ai active subscriptions will automatically be grandfathered in to Scale Plus. That means we're going to get all 450 of your names, and we're going to manually create an account for all of the different products automatically for you. And you put your faith in us with workflow app training, which was, you know, and FlowEyes and the certification and all those different things. A lot of stuff still needs to be addressed there. But that's it. Keep that subscription and you will get Scale Plus absolutely free. So to be clear, there's no bad news. There's only good news here. All you need to do is buy Scale Plus. Now, if your subscription comes up either in August, September, October, November, with all those people that purchased, and you decide to cancel it, well, then you cancel Workflow app, you cancel access to Scale Plus, you get all the lifetime stuff that you committed, that you purchased. And also, like if the billing fails as well, you want to make sure that your billing doesn't fail, because this is basically your free ticket to Scale Plus. My point is, it's not necessarily free, but here's the bottom line of it. We don't want you to have to pay us 2 subscriptions. We don't think it's fair that we are building this value in Scale Plus of all of this stuff for $497 a year, and then you have to pay that $497 a year and then pay another $497 a year for Workflow app. We're going to roll that in, okay? Now, I think that's pretty cool. Let me know if you guys have any questions on that before we move over. Some of you may have forgotten that your rebill is coming up. No problem. If you don't want the rebill and you don't want Scale Plus, by all means, contact us. We will cancel your subscription, and you won't have Workflow app training. You'll lose access to the N8N and the FlowEyes, et cetera, et cetera. But you get that, right? That was why we did a subscription, and you won't get Scale Plus. But we don't want you to have to do 2 separate subscriptions. Are you sending out a billing reminder emails? If so, how far ahead? Consider this your billing reminder. Well, as you saw here, we basically did it in September, end of August, early September, and then we did it again in October. I would just recommend you just go in and look for Workflow app and GrooveCell in an email, and you'll find your billing reminder. All right. Okay. I'm not seeing too many questions about that. Now, keep in mind, out of the 450 people, and I emailed every single one of you to attend the Workflow app training, 28 of you got on. So we do have to let some of those Workflow app people know. I can imagine there are going to be some people that just don't pay attention to our emails, and will probably see Scale and buy again. So we really, really hope that you know that you're getting it for free if you're a Workflow app member. We'll make a post in the Facebook community. So how does this impact the folks who are on the monthly plan? Good news for you. You're paying more. Okay. So don't worry about it. It's included for you. Remember, we were asking for Scale Plus is going to be $497 or $99 a month. And I think Workflow app went as high as $149 a year or something. I don't remember exactly what it was, but whatever the case is, anything you're paying monthly, quarterly, biannual, anything was more money than you would have if you were paying $497. So Douglas, I believe you're saying you're paying $149 a month. You'll get it for free. What I would recommend, Douglas, that you do is you take a look at what you're spending in 3 months at $149. I know cash flow is tight, bud. I know. But if we take $149, and where's my let's put that here. We take $149 times 3. You're paying $447 every 3 months. So that means multiply that times 4 times a year, you're paying $1,788. If you save up those 3 months, just pay $497. Okay. And you're going to save yourself some money. I know the $149 is easier for you monthly. It's probably because cash flow is a little tight. I get it. We all get that. But if you can, do yourself a favor and try to get yourself to that annual plan, contact us and we'll help you to get there. All right. So that wraps up that announcement right there. Oh, shoot. Darn it. Son of a gun. Well, at least we're recording this in Zoom. There's this feature when you have the ChatGPT desktop app. I don't believe it works on PC. I don't believe, and it doesn't work on Intel Macs. You need an M1 or better, like M4 Mac. And when you click record, it's actually going to record this conversation and put it right into a GPT for us. So that would have been really nice if I would have recorded all that information that we just did so that it would have gotten into the GPT. So I'm going to just say it again real quick so that we can summarize this later and I can make a post about it. Your workflow app subscription is going to be rebilling soon. Most customers purchase sometime between August 25th and October 10th. Some went as far as November, and that is $497 a year. That workflow app, any current active subscription for workflow app is automatically going to get Scale Plus, so you don't need 2 subscriptions. If you don't want to re-up for workflow app for a second year, notify us so we could cancel your subscription. You'll lose access to the training. You'll lose access to your N8N workflows and your FlowWise, and you will not get Scale Plus. But if you keep your subscription, when you see Scale Plus come out, you don't have to buy it. And if you have a monthly plan or any type of subscription plan for Workflow app, you'll automatically get access to Scale Plus. We don't want you to have to pay twice. All right. And Clutch says, are you going to address the AI certification program today? Yes, I will. I'll address that right now for you, Clutch. The certification, anything that we had last year, had we done the certification, and we know the complications that we had we done the certification, would be obsolete. AI has completely changed the landscape. Even the Notion document that I had with all of those different things has really collapsed to mainly 5 or 6 big text platforms and 5 or 6 video and imaging platforms, etc. So that needs to be rethought. And certification was very complicated last year, and it's gotten a lot easier this year. So my promise to you is that in the next 60 days, we will create a certification, and that certification will get you through the second year, okay, automatically. Even if you cancel your subscription, we're going to get you your certification. All right, we still have access to something Donna and I were working on, again, when everything happened in January, and we've got to get back to that. What will be in Scale? RollF, we don't have time to go over that today, but we just go to the Groove YouTube channel right here, okay? And you'll see here.
We're not seeing your screen, Mike.
Oh, bear with me just a second. Thank you for letting me know that. And see why it's good to have a co-host on with you. I could be going on for an hour and not notice. All right. All right, I don't have to share sound because my tech that I'm using will automatically do that. You're seeing my YouTube channel here?
Yes.
Okay. Let's go to, I hate that I have this YouTube app on my computer. Every time I click a video, it opens up in this app over here like this instead of an actual browser. So let me see if I can quit that. Let me see if that still happens again. Yeah, no, any way I do that, it's going to go here. So let me show you by going like this. I'm just going to go straight to YouTube. We're going to type in Groove Official. All right. So when you go to our channel, just click on live. And then right here, you'll see 6 days ago, we streamed a State of the Groovian that talks about Scale Plus and everything that you need to know about that. All right. It's a really, really important thing. It talks about a lot of new products. All right. So we will also be announcing another training for Workflow app where we're going to be doing a traditional AI updates. But today I'm going to jump right in with Amanda, and we're going to get into what we promised you on the last training last time. We're going to go over building an app. I'm going to build the prototype or the starter for Amanda. We're going to see how far we get. But the first thing I want to do first is I want to give you an understanding of AI. What I want to do is I want to make it complicated and say at the same time, but don't worry about it because Replit takes care of all of these things for us. But it's important that you understand how these things work. So we're going to go to our famous Excalidraw. And you do see my screen, right, Amanda?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, let's create a new drawing. And we're going to call this code anything. All right. So let's see here. Let's make this just like that. Put that pink. All righty. I'm going to make my screen a little bit brighter. And we're going to start with some of the basics that you need to understand when you want to code an app so you understand what's going on. I'll try to organize my thoughts as best as possible. I might rearrange some different things. Okay, so the first thing that you want to know is your tech stack. Okay, and your tech stack is like, what are you going to be programming in? Now, here's what I'm going to tell you that I recommend for now. Yes, there are a lot of them. I'll just create a small little one right here, and I'll do text typing in here. There's PHP, recommend Laravel with PHP. There is Python, and the framework that goes with that is Django. There's JavaScript, and on the front end is Node.js. And then other frameworks that work with it are Next.js and Express.js. And then there's other platforms, of course, like Ruby and C# and C++ and Rust, but that's way complicated. All right, so let me put this into ChatGPT here. Make a list out of all the languages. Well, how did we ever live without this stuff, huh? All right, so if we look at all of this stuff here, this is the stuff that matters to a lot of people. I'm going to tell you it doesn't matter to you at all. What you're going to want to let the AI choose it. I'm going to show you in a minute. And this is all going to, we're just going to take this, bring it down even smaller. We're going to collapse all of this stuff to just saying JavaScript. Okay, that's all that you really need to worry about is JavaScript. In fact, you don't even need to worry. I'm just letting you know that this is the best language because the AI models, I've had many conversations with AI. We still use Laravel for different reasons, but for these micro apps, even the ones that I create, I just use JavaScript. Now, just so you have it here, and just because there's one or two tech geeks that are here, we're going to use Node.js, and we're going to use Express.js as that handles all of the integrations and your APIs and everything like that for you. Okay, so that is on the technical end of it about the most that you'll really need to know, if you even care to know. I'm telling you, you don't even really need to know, because what I'm going to show you here, when you go to Replit, Replit usually decides. I'm going to tell you that you want to usually just check off here modern web app with React and Node.js. I usually do that. It will always default to that. If you're creating most of the apps that we're doing, it'll usually default to that. Okay, so let's go
Mike,
back to here.
There's just
Yes.
a request if you can make the screen view a little bit bigger.
Yeah, so let's do it a different way. Let's This is tough on me, but good on you. So I'm going to go to my displays. And so everything will get bigger, not just the browser. It's really big already, but let's see if I can work with this. Okay, I see what the problem was. I got to click on Studio Display. Studio, and okay. That is really big for me, but that should work for you guys. All right.
Yeah, that's awesome.
All right.
Samir says thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. And I get it. You always hear me telling people to do that when they're on. Kind of feel like I need to sit back a little bit, but I get it. And I made this small deliberately so you can't see it. All right. I'm going to share this with everybody. No, in fact, I'm not. I'm going to share it later. If I share it now, we're going to see 23 mouses moving around the screen, and that'll get a little distracting. So remind me to share this with you all later. Okay. All right. So when you're working with a tech stack. And I'm not going to get too much into all of the greater details, but generally what they do is they have what's known as the front end. And they have the back end. Start with the back end first, because that's really where the code is and everything. All right. And the front end is basically what is handling your, what are you handling for your JavaScript? Most of the time we are using React, React with Tailwind, CSS. And we are dealing with something called Radix. And you don't need to know any of this. It's just good that you understand that your front end was built with these things, and then you never have to think of it again. Radix, and your component library is Shad CN UI. Okay. I'm also going to give you this nice little prompt that I have that I just feed to Replit. So that's why when you look at my apps, whoops. When you look at my apps when we log in, you're going to notice the ones that I'm creating myself. They tend to look like this. I just created an app yesterday for Mitch Russo and I for Click Coach. It's called Coach Elevation app, similar to what we're going to be creating today for Amanda. Should be in my 1Password. You'll notice this app looks the same, right? If you look here, and we look at click campaigns, and remember, don't log into any of these. This is in trial, and I go in every day and I delete accounts. So you don't want to go in and start working with these things until we fully finish the application. All right. But you'll see here, this application as well looks the same. This is called Claymorphism Design. I have a little prompt that I'm just going to give you today, and you just upload it to Replit and your app will look like this. Amanda, are you okay with your app looking like this as well?
Yeah, it's nice and clean and easy. I like it.
Okay, very good. All right, so getting back to the framework here, this is all the stuff that we really don't have to worry too much about, but this is going to be automatically taken care of for you with Replit. Now, many people, I'm not even looking over at the Q&A right now, are going to be like saying, hey, you know, Mike, I recommend Next.js, and Replit doesn't work with Next.js, and none of that stuff matters. What matters is that these are proven frameworks that work really, really well with Replit. And I don't recommend that you go down the rabbit hole of getting separate hosting and a separate database and, separate backend and front ends and a separate hosting company and all these different things. So we're going to talk about that in just a minute. So let's take all of this. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller now because it's becoming less relevant. And we're going to put all of that over here. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing with this. And we're going to make this less relevant, and we're going to put it over here. Okay, so that's our tech stack for our front end and our back end. And pretend, again, that you really didn't even have to worry too much about that. So now let's move on. Let's talk about the things that you need. Again, I'm going to complicate it, and then I'm going to say, but don't worry, because it's all taken care of for you with Replit. And trust me when I tell you, I used to do all of these different things, and I would get a Supabase account, and I would get an account with Next.js so that I could deploy and host my app with Supabase. And I had to find out where I put all my environment variables. It was good that I learned that stuff, but man, at a certain point, it's just so easy to understand there's an app that just takes care of all of that for you. And if you want to know, I've even convinced Matt Serralta, stop worrying about Next.js and Supabase and Bluehost for hosting. Just do it on Replit. You know, I think I pay them, I swear to God, I think I pay them $20 a month, and I just keep adding apps, and they don't charge me more for the hosting and the deployment and all these different things. So let's see the things that you need when you build an app. Okay. Number one, you need a repo or a repository. That's where your code is stored on the internet or on your desktop. All right. So I'm just going to copy this and make this smaller here like this. We'll make this really tiny and even tinier. Okay, that's your repo. Now we can get rid of all of this here. Repo stands for your repository, okay? That's where your code is stored. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. Number two, you need a place to handle all, I'm just going to put env variables. All right. What are your environment variables? These are things like your API keys. They need 128-bit encryption, or whatever that number is, 256, I forget, right? You need to have all of your environment variables stored in a place. And normally your hosting company will take care of that. The bottom line is you never want your environment variables in the code. You don't want other developers seeing them. These are secret API keys and database passwords and things that you set up, and then they're stored encrypted in the environment, and even your developers don't get access to that. The next thing that you need to have is you need a database. All right. And again, I'm doing the complicated stuff right now so that you say, oh my God, this sounds complicated. And then I'm going to say, but guess what? None of this matters. It's all taken care of for you with Replit. Because in the past, you had to say, do I want to use a MySQL database or a Postgres database? What's the difference between all this different stuff? Don't even worry. Matt was even using Firebase in the past. And he's like, I kind of like Firebase. And he's come to realize now it's just easier with Replit. It has all of these things automatically included. So what is the database for? Well, that stores all of your customer data, your customer's first name, their last name, their email address. It helps with who's authenticated. When they create a document, it knows that that document is only available to that user, right? If you upload images and all those different things. Well, that brings us to the next thing. You need storage, right? All right, I want you to start thinking a little bit like a developer. What is storage? Well, where are we going to store the images that users are uploading and the output of images that our app creates and their documents? All of these things need to be stored somewhere. Sometimes we're physically uploading actual media like zip files and the user's PDFs and all of that stuff. And again, you could go with Supabase, you could go with Firebase. I'm just going to say all of this is taken care of with Replit. So the next thing that you'll need is you need hosting to deploy your app, right? So let's actually do this here. And I know that this is really tiny because it's not that important. To deploy your app, right? So there's something called, you'll sometimes hear us say, hey, Vashi, is that live yet, what you're showing? And he's like, no, that's on the development server. That's not live on the hosting. I haven't deployed it publicly yet, right? So let's talk about one more thing here that we have. We need a development server. All right. And many times most developers are doing this on their computer with VS Code or with Cursor, and then they have to do this thing called an npm run dev and then run it, and they'll see it'll show up in their browser looking something like this: local host just like that, what you're seeing right there. And you're basically running something locally. And then when you're happy with, you say, okay, let's deploy. What's the beautiful thing? Again, don't worry about this. Replit takes care of all of this. Again, if you're seeming a little bit stressed right now, I want you to know that this is what's needed to build an app. And I'm going to snap my finger and say, this is all done automatically for you. And I'm going to show you how this is all taken care of for you. So you need a local development server, but Replit gives you a virtual development server so that you could literally test your code live as you're working on it. The next thing that you'll need, we're not going to get too crazy into this, but you need a terminal to run shell commands, or the app does, and Replit will have that. And you know, that's something that looks like this, right? Your terminal. Or if you're in an app like Cursor, let me see if I have that open. And you won't need this, guys. You won't need any of this. When you're in Cursor and you're working on a particular application, I don't want to do that. You'll see that right here, I'd have to Command J, and you could go into an actual terminal, right? Sorry about that. Again, this is terminal process failed to launch starting. Okay. Well, I don't know what, oh, because I'm in a bad directory here. But the bottom line is I'm going to show you where you don't need all of this crazy stuff. Replit makes it very, very simple. I want to go over one more thing with you that I do think is very, very important. I recommend that you don't just keep your repo on Replit. Okay. You want to also, in my opinion, in case you lose your Replit account or whatever, or it gets hacked or something, you want to create a free GitHub account. Okay. And you'll see when I go to GitHub, don't worry, I'm going to show you how easy this is. All of the little apps that I've created over time are just here. This is Click Campaigns right here. This is literally my code is all here. The next thing that I want to tell you is what this does right here is this keeps everything in sync. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Trying to write here. Am I doing something wrong? I'm clicking here. I want to type. All right, I don't understand why it's not letting me type. So let's just copy this. We'll figure that out later. All right, so again, just bear with me, guys. This is important for you guys to understand, because if you don't follow what I'm saying here right now, you're going to realize that one day, if you look at me on the screen here, that your code is a Rubik's Cube. And if you remember the game Simon when we were a kid, it would go green, green, and then you would go green, yellow, and like later it would be green, green, red, red, yellow, red, green, green, and your brain can only go out so far. And your code is going to be like that too. You're going to realize that your code is kind of like this Rubik's Cube that you're working on. And if you break something, you can kind of fix it. But then all of a sudden, you've got this beautifully working app. And I'm telling you, you will have tears over this if you don't listen to what I'm saying. That you've turned the Rubik's Cube this way, this way, this way, this way. And you're like, I'm pretty sure I could fix it. And all of a sudden, you're like, oh my goodness. How do I get back? I'm trying to fix something. You're telling the AI, no, it's broken. And now next thing you know, you've got a completely scrambled Rubik's Cube, and your app was working as a solved Rubik's Cube, and you'll never be able to get it back. You've destroyed your app. You've destroyed 3 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 months, 2 years worth of code, because sometimes there's no going back. You can try to work with the code and try to get it fixed. Sometimes it just gets what we call foobar. All right. What you want to have is a reset point. So what I'm saying is, imagine working in a file and not hitting the save button. All right. So this right here, we're going to give you a quick little understanding of this. So I recommend that you get a tool called GitHub Desktop. This is the newbie way to do it, and I never went away from it. So GitHub Desktop, you're seeing right here, and I'm going to just show you very simply. If I look at the history of this, every single time I do a commit, which basically just means save my work, right? That's all it means. Save my work. I can click at any time and just click roll back. Okay. So I want you to imagine that what I'm telling you is you're playing a video game like Super Mario Brothers with 8 different worlds. And if you don't do this, you're not getting a save point where you go back to that point if you die. You follow what I mean? You're literally going back to square one if you don't do what I'm saying. And here's the beautiful thing. Replit will automatically do this for you as well, but I still recommend that you sync this with GitHub Desktop. Okay, you get a GitHub account and you just get GitHub Desktop. I'm not going to go too much into it, but I'll show you basically how. I'll show you basically how I connect it and how simple it is. All right, so let's just talk about the things that you need to know in the terms of saving your work, and I'll say what they call it in the industry and what I refer to them as. So if we're talking about GitHub here, or Git. And then we're going to get to the exciting stuff, I promise. But I want you to understand, because if you create something that you don't know how to save, you're going to be like, I really should have listened to Mike that day. So let's talk about what Git is, right? There's different Gits. There's GitHub, GitLab, but Git is the procedure. So there's something called, let's make this green. There's something called staging. I'm not going to really talk about that. I don't really use it. Staging just basically means I want to save my work, and you see all the files that you want to save, tick, 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 tick. But I don't need this one because it was a test file. But let's just forget that. I never do that. I basically just save everything. So the first thing that you do, it's called a commit. Okay, that literally means save your work as a reset point. All right, every time you do a commit, then you've saved your work and you can remember you could always go back. Number 2 is we want to do what's known as a push. And what that means is if you're working and you're happy with something you had saved, you're happy with something, fixed, saved. Now you're working on something, it breaks. Let's just go back to the previous commit. Let's try to start again. Great. You fix it, it's working. Commit, you save it. Now let's go on and work on the navigation. I want to add something to up. You're just saving your work. You're stacking your saves, and those are called commits. Every now and then, what you do is you'll do a push, and a push simply means sync with repo at GitHub. Okay, so what I want you to picture is that when you're working, this is kind of like working on your local computer, and then you're saving and you're saving and you're saving on your local computer. But now you're like, okay, now I want to push it and sync it with my Google Drive. So now it's in the cloud. Now it's on my Dropbox. Great. Now I'm working over here. I commit. Everything's working good. I'm done for the day, or every hour or whatever. And then you just push it, and whoo, not only is it saved on my computer, I've just pushed it to GitHub. And now when I go to GitHub, everything is there. All right. On the next thing I want you to know is something called pull. What is the purpose of a pull? Well, pull is for you to pull your work from GitHub, which is like your Google Drive, onto another computer, right? So if you're working on one laptop and now you want to go to another laptop and you want to pull that work, you'll simply just tell GitHub Desktop, fetch, right? And it just pulls everything from automatically for you, and it automatically syncs with your computer. So pull means sync to this laptop or PC. All right, guys, just bear with me. I promise you, we're gonna I want you to understand this. The reason why we're doing this is so that you never lose any of this work. All right, that's some of the main things that you want to know. And then finally, the one that is important is, I just had it in my head. Bear with me just a second. You want to do a commit, you want to do a push, you want to do a pull. We already spoke about a deploy. That happens more in the app where you deploy it live to the server, but let's just put that here. That's sync with users live app, right? That means I just remembered the one I forgot. All right. This means that you can sync with the user's live app. And I'm going to show you one more really, really important thing. And that's when you're working either in GitHub Desktop or in Replit. And let's just go into an app in Replit here. you're going to see that when you have your little Git here, and I promise you it's going to be very simple, your main branch is something traditionally after you get your first prototype ready, you don't want to work in the main branch anymore. Okay, because the safer way to do it, okay, is to create a branch that you're going to work on for the next few days. So I have this chatbaser.ai. I might just create a new branch because I got everything working. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to say refactor menu system, right? And now I've created a new branch just like this. Now I'm going to publish. That means push to GitHub. And now I've just created a clone of the existing branch on GitHub, right? In other words, imagine GitHub is Google Drive or Dropbox. It's kind of like I cloned my current repository and I created a new branch. And now what I can do on this new branch, okay, let's make this green or blue because it's really important. Create a branch. When you create a branch, this allows you to play, break, sandbox, experiment, and never, ever mess up your main working code. Okay, this is what developers do on teams. They will say, okay, I'm going to go try to fix that bug. They create a branch and they work on it, and they're not messing with the normal code. Like this is standard. And you will see I hardly ever work on my main code. When I'm happy at the end, I'll do this little thing where I go back to my main branch and then I click choose a branch to merge into main. And then I just merge everything I've been working, I create merge, and now that just allows me to pull all the work when I'm really happy and I've tested it and everything works good. And I'm like, okay, this is what I wish my main branch was like. My branch that I split. Now I need to merge it back to my branch. Again, nothing you need to worry about now. A lot of this stuff will automatically happen for you in Replit. But what does the branch do? It's even a safer way than dealing with commits, which are basically saves. This basically says, okay, my app is so golden right now. I'm about to do something where we're adding a whole new feature to the app. I'm not exactly sure how to explore in here, and I don't want to break anything in the app, even though I can roll it back to recheck out an old commit. I just want to create a new branch. It's like cloning your code, and you could break it and it'll never mess anything. Okay, so
can you also
yes.
unmerge if you needed to?
Yes, what you do is you just go back to a previous commit.
Okay.
Right. And this is really important, guys. And the reason why I say this, and somebody's asked, do I use Codex with OpenAI? No, I use me personally. I use Replit, and then I bring things over to GitHub, and I'm going to show Amanda at the end how we do this. And then from GitHub, I pull it down to my computer with GitHub Desktop, and then I can do some advanced stuff with Cursor and Claude Code, which is kind of like OpenAI's Codex, but that's advanced stuff that we'll get to at the end. So Amanda, what I really wanted to do right here is to basically protect you and protect other users. Matt will tell you, this has happened to him. This has happened to me. This has happened to every new developer. They're kind of just going a little bit rogue. And the next thing you know, like I've had that call with Matt, depressed over a weekend, almost in tears. And I've had like cursing and screaming fits where Michelle's like, what's the matter? And I almost want to break down and cry. I'm like, I had this thing working, and like an idiot, I went in and I didn't create a new branch, and I completely forgot. And I can't go back, and I didn't do enough commits and saves. So these are things that I did early on in my first month. And then you watch some YouTube videos and you're like, oh, okay, this isn't something that happens to real developers. They don't break their app. They save their work along the lines, right? Other than that, you're like a little kid that didn't save their work. All right. So does this all make sense, Amanda, before we now move on to the fun stuff?
Yes, and I am incredibly grateful that you covered this, because I have lost lots of things in the past.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is we're gonna now go to create your app. I'm going to show you how I create an app once I understand your app a little bit better. And then when we're done, we're going to go into the advanced section, and I'm going to say, okay, now I'm going to create a repo on GitHub. I'm going to show you how simple it is. And then I'm going to show you how with GitHub Desktop, I pull that repo right down to my computer. And if I ever wanted to get really geeky in the future and actually pull it into a code base like you're seeing here with Cursor, right? Like if I ever wanted to actually bring it like right in here. Now, what is this? This is like I'm saying, this is basically this. This is my Finder, right? These are my particular, if I go here and I go to Documents, and then I go to GitHub, right? And then I could see Brandbaser, right? It's right here. This is basically my files, right? But when you're looking at it in a code environment, you're seeing your files like this, and this is your Google Doc, right? You can actually see the canvas where you could work. And in the old days, you would type right here. In the new days, for super, super advanced guys like me, let me just close this. Trying to find the, why is it not letting me?
Yeah, I recognize this
There we
this
go.
layout from way back when I was coding my own sites. I just wanted
Yes,
to let
right,
you
with
know, Mike,
Dreamweaver.
that
Mhm.
I have a thunderstorm just rolling over. If for any reason I get disconnected, just keep going and I will reconnect, but hopefully nothing will happen.
Okay, great. Now I got to find you over here. Now I can see. Yeah. So this, guys, we're not going to get into today. This is when you code for 3 or 4 months and you start realizing, oh my God, that you're a programmer. You'll never be a coder. Coder is the people that actually write the codes, right? But we are all now programmers. And so when you get into here, let me just click like plus, you're going to see that this is just ChatGPT. And when you tell ChatGPT, write me a blog post about Groove, and then it writes the blog post right here, this is the same thing. You're going to say, make the button bounce on hover and turn it pink, right? And then it's just going to go and write your blog post for you, which is your code, right? This is the advanced stuff. I don't think there's ever a reason for me to go over this with you. This isn't a course on vibe coding. You will determine if you get the bug to actually create software like this, that you're going to say, hey, I might want to actually learn what's known as that is called an IDE, an integrated development environment. But what you have here with Replit is if I go into one of my apps, let's just open up Coach Elevate right here that I just made for Mitch in 4 hours, by the way. Now, is this too big, or can I make this a little bit smaller, or you prefer it this way?
I think you can go a little bit smaller on this one now.
Yeah, I'm going to have to. It's just, there's just a lot that I can't see here. So just bear with me, guys. I am going to reset my screen back to the way it was. Studio display, we're going to go here. Okay. Okay. So what you're seeing here is everything that I told you. Let's close all of these different things right here. I'm going to close everything because you don't even have to worry about this. I'll bring them up one at a time so that it doesn't look confusing. And I'm starting with an existing application right now. So right here is my ChatGPT. This is my coder who lives in, somewhere else in the US or in Brazil or in Romania or the Ukraine or Philippines or whatever. This is my coder. He's an agent. And I talk to him like I would on Skype. And I'll say, hey, do you see where it says Coach Elevation? Make that one word. I don't want a space. So I would just type that and it'll say, okay, great, refresh the page. And I would click, well, it'll actually just automatically refresh and I'll see it happen. The other thing that I can do is, remember what's so beautiful about when I'm coding in a virtual environment like this on Replit, I don't have to do a build, all these complicated terms like npm run dev. I just click run. They built this user interface that just runs the app for me. And then I can just click right here and it'll just actually create a temporary URL where I can test everything. Now you can see it's telling me, Mike, you haven't deployed your app. Nobody in the world can see this. And this, as soon as you stop the development environment or close the tab, all of this stuff will stop. But the beautiful thing is I can test everything before I make it live, right? This is a way that I can work on things without the user seeing what is happening. Every time I log in, something's changing, right? So this is just your sandbox where you're working. They give you a preview here. I generally like to click and go out of it and actually see it working in a URL. Okay, so what else do you have over here? Well, remember, we want to see our files. Replit is saying, hey, we built this for newbies. We don't want to make it intimidating. So we don't even show you the files. But if you want them, guess what? Here's your files. So Replit is like Google Docs. Everything is in the cloud. And you or anybody that you invite to the project that's working on it works on it like a Google Doc rather than using it like this with Cursor, where it's only on my desktop. I have to sync it to GitHub, push pull. Another developer wants to get on to push pull. They have said, hey, that's the old way of Microsoft Word. Why don't we just create something that's in the cloud, and everything that happens, people are collaborating and it works well. That's why I like GitHub. It acts as a repo. Number two, it acts as a preview. So it automatically runs my app. So I don't need to create a development server. It automatically does it automatically for me. Number two, it has a console, which is basically your terminal, right? So all of these things that it automatically does as an agent, but these things are important to development. You have to be able to talk to a console. I'm going to leave that tab open because I'm going to build some of these things up as you'll see my type of workspace. I'm going to close the files. We don't need them. The next thing is it automatically creates a database for you and doesn't charge you anything for it. So all of your database is here. If I click on my data, you'll see here, users. If I click on users, I don't want to do that because you're going to see all the users that are part of ClickCoach and their email address and everything, but I don't even worry about this. All I know is that this has a database for me, and I can type things like, do me a favor, change the email address to the user ID that ends in 827. I see there's a typo. It should be leadership, not leadershop, right? And so, right? It'll automatically go in and do all this database work. It's like just talking to a developer. I never go in. I don't know database commands. All I know is that I need database. It takes care of all my storage for me. It takes care of all my files, hosting. Everything is all included with Replit for like 20 bucks a month. And then finally, it has this little button right here called deploy. And so I'm just going to open up a few more things that I like to keep open. Oops. I like to have my deployments open. And so I go here and I simply click connect domain like this. I buy a domain and I connect it like I do in Groove, and I connected it to, I simply go here and then it says, okay, go into Namecheap, create a text record with this, a text record for that. And the next thing you know, my app is live. And until I buy a domain, this is my actual deployed URL, like your Groove URL or your ClickFunnels URL, until you mask it. And this is actually your development deployed server. So your app will, when you click deploy, they'll actually just give you this included for free. And then you just click on domains and you add your domain to it. I also have a couple of other things that I like to keep open, like my Git. And what you'll do is you'll literally just go into your settings and you'll just give it a name. And once you connect to GitHub, you hit sync, and it automatically deploys to GitHub for you. That's about it. That's about as far as I go. So we're going to start with Amanda, and we're going to start with a brand new process. And so what I like to do is I like to go and understand everything about the app first, and then I will go to ChatGPT, have a conversation. They say, this is what I want to build. And then when I'm done, I say, okay, build me the prompt. And I believe that Amanda did something like this already. We're going to find out in just a minute. However, what I want to do is I told you guys that I've created a user library, a user interface library. I have it on Dropbox. It's called my Clay Morphism UI Design Kit. So I'm going to give every single one of you guys access to this in the chat. Okay, let's open it up and see what it looks like. Okay, it basically says these are the colors and what we want: soft backgrounds, shadows, blah, blah, blah. That's it. So I'm going to take this before I even do anything. And I'm going to go to Replit. And I'm just going to drag this right in. Right. And now I'll put down here at the end, use the as the design for the app. Okay, so that's where we're going to will be the final prompt. And now we're going to tell it what we want to build. And what I normally do is I'll go to ChatGPT and I'll say, hey, I'm looking to create an app. It's a clone of this company, similar to this. Here are some screenshots, blah, 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 blah. Is there anything that I'm missing? Should I have this? What features do I want? I have a conversation. When I'm done, I say, great, write me the prompt to give to an AI agent in Replit. I copy and I paste it right here, and it creates the plan that I approve. So now we're going to get to the exciting part, 1 hour into the presentation right now. And let me get, you gotta hydrate. Keep my wife happy with me. She gets very disappointed when she sees me do a 3-hour stream and taking a sip. All right, Amanda, tell us, what do we got going on here today?
All right, so that is the GPT library that I wanted to create an app for. The other document that I sent you as well is the chat I had with ChatGPT that lays out what I want the app to do.
Oh, and yes, you can send the link to Christine. Is there anything else that I missed in there?
No, that was it.
Okay.
Thanks.
I hope you did already and trusted me that you could.
I did. I figured you'd forgive me
yeah.
later.
Yeah. All right. So I see, I see one Google link.
Yeah, it should go to the folder rather than the doc. And there are 2 documents in it.
Okay, let me try this again.
Yeah.
I'm going to put this here.
I can grab it again for you if you want.
Is this the link here?
Yes.
When I click that, it just opens a Google Doc.
Okay. All right. Let me grab the other one. Hang on.
Okay.
Let's see.
So guys, here's where the exciting part comes. You know, I remember when I went to go do skydiving, I did a halo dive, a 30,000-foot halo dive. I was the 29th civilian to ever do it. And it was 2 days of training for 1 hour in the sky. And I got to tell you, thank God I did the training because my parachute opened, right?
We appreciate that. All right, Mike, I've got the new share one there. It's in
Okay.
in
That
Teams.
looks like a drive folder. Okay.
There you
So
go.
that looks like we want this one here. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
and the other one is just the context of what the app needs to know.
okay. So this is, explain this for me when you say the context of what the app needs to know.
Yeah. So for my course, these are all the individual custom GPTs that I created to help them set up their evergreen YouTube funnels. And so I want the app to help them walk through it without having to constantly search, where was that GPT? Where was that? And there are so many, if they just like save it, it's going to like go into a whole bunch of places. And so I want the app to be like, I suppose, the wrapper.
Yeah.
And
So
then
let
it
me see
will
if I got
remember
this.
what they're working on. Like if it's like they're working on their title or their thumbnail or their video script, that it just follows the flow. So I wrote that all out in the other doc. I had chat kind of list out the flow of it and the features.
So are you looking to build an app that has many different GPTs? Is that essentially what it is?
Yeah, I want them to be able within the app to use these different ones. You know how you did it with Groove AI?
Groove
where
AI,
you could
right.
start with something and then they could go to the next thing and it would still remember what they were working on. That's sort of the idea.
So let's open up Groove AI.
Yeah. Originally, you had us just link out to the GPTs, and then I don't remember if you actually updated it or not, but the plan was to be able to work in the GPTs inside the Groove AI.
Yeah. So you're saying something like this, you'd want like a library of all different GPTs?
Right, exactly.
And then do you want the GPTs to actually be working right here in the app, or do you want it just to link to a chat? You want it to you want to move away from ChatGPT and have the GPTs actually here, right?
Yeah, because
Okay.
eventually I want it to be like a membership, and if it's a GPT link, then they get access
yeah,
at any time,
exactly,
right?
and then they don't have to pay. Okay.
And I'll be
So-
constantly updating and that kind of thing.
Okay, so custom GPTs, let me put here. So students don't have to visit separate GPT. I'm going to put, essentially, I want this to be native. I don't want to have the users have to use ChatGPT. Okay. Structured GPT workflow in order. So what does this mean here?
So when they're building out their videos or their video series, there's a structured order of things they need to do. And so it's listed it out so the app understands you go from this to this to this, but
Like a
I might
wizard?
need to adjust these as I build it out.
Okay, so here's my suggestion, right?
Okay.
I'm going to take this, and I'm going to go to ChatGPT. I want to create an app, and I want to create it in phases. The first thing that I want to do is build an app that will eventually build what you see below. Right now, I want to work on the core part of the app. It's basically going to be an AI application with many custom GPTs that I will later provide the instructions and the names for. I want the ability to manually create by clicking a plus sign in the admin to create an additional GPT at any time, or delete a GPT or clone a GPT, etc. So right now, let's create an app that has a custom GPT already created that just creates a poem that says Mary had a little lamb. And then once we see that the user interface and everything is running properly, then we can then move to the next phase where we start building GPTs. We will also have some GPTs will work with a wizard. I think it's important that the application knows that ahead of time as well. Some of them will build a process through a step-by-step wizard where we will collect data from the user and then feed that to the GPT. Does this all make sense? Sometimes the GPT will just regurgitate a lot of stuff. So sometimes I just wanted to ingest stuff, and I'll say something like this. Please read this, and if it makes sense, simply say, okay. If not, if you have any follow-up questions for me, please ask.
Yeah, I learned that from you too. I do that now all the time as well. It's like, make sure it understands what you want.
Yeah. Okay, so it says, okay, so it pretty much knows everything that we want to create. Now what I'm going to say is, I'm going to create an app with Replit. The following is very important. I don't need you to get involved in the tech stack or the UI design and colors. I'm going to take care of that myself. I simply want you to give a general prompt to Replit on how to create this. Assume it knows everything about the database, so don't get into structure, coding, tech stack, or anything. Create me a prompt that can create this app. Now, the only thing I am going to ask you is, Amanda, is what do you want this app to look like? Like when I created Mitch's app the other day, Mitch's app was very similar. If we go to coachelevation.app, I basically said, these are GPTs, by the way. Each one of these is a custom GPT with separate instructions. This is an open one. They all work with this book here that Mitch wrote. So you'll see if I ask it a question, like, who is this Mitch guy in the book? Now, the response is going to take a while because it's reading a 200-page book. You see it says reading files, and now it's ingesting all that information. But this is a GPT that allows me to chat with the book. Next, I'm going to show you. Give it just a second here. It does take a little while because the book is very large. Okay. So there you go, Mitch, blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera. Now, when we go back to the beginning here, these are basically trained on certain chapters in the book. That's all. and they have special instructions to work with these particular frameworks. Is this what you envisioned your app looking like?
Yeah, I'd like it to be sort of like a library where they can come to, and it makes sense. It's like when I'm working on my scripts, I want to go to this section and choose all these different script formats. Or when I'm looking at the thumbnails, I want to use these ones, and so on, right? Through the whole thing. But I also want it to have an area where it will remember the user's information and have like a fast track, I guess, sort of area where it can walk them through. Okay, you just need to do research, then you just need to create your thumbnail title idea, then script, blah, blah, blah. Like it just walks them through so that they're not feeling lost. What do I do next?
So you want to have something, if we look at Click Campaigns, I don't know if it's my internet that's slow today.
Well, at least the thunderstorm that just hit me has already passed, so that's good.
No, it's not my internet. Okay. All right. Would you want a dashboard that looks similar to this, where you might have something like whatever you just said, like
Or they could
would you call
choose
that
to just go in the
process?
library, find what they need, or do like
Yeah.
the fast track for doing their video. I like that I see specialized agents because that is something I want down the track as well, is they can set up the agents to do like the promotions of their videos, things like that.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I thought that's for later to build onto.
All right, let's just get it started on the main app and see if it has any questions. So I'm going to take
Yeah.
this prompt for Replit right here. Okay, this is just bear with me because this happens sometimes. Okay.
Yeah.
And this is what I want to get away from. No, I think you missed the point. Replit is an agent that doesn't need instructions on backend logic and different things like that. I want you to write this more in a paragraph. I like what you did, keep it the same, but I don't want you to be opinionated. I want more of a prompt. Let Replit figure out what it needs to do in structure. Put this into more of a 2 or 3 paragraph prompt. This is what we want. We want something that looks like this. As soon as it starts getting opinionated, it starts telling it a little bit too much. I want Replit to do that. So basically, we got what we need, okay? So we're going to go now to Replit. We've got our design kit in here, and I'm going to paste. Sometimes it's a lot of text, and it'll just show up as another document like this. Sometimes, if it's not a lot of text, it shows up like this. Other times, it will literally just show up there, and I'll just say, go. All right? And that's it. Now, remember, I like to specifically say that I want to use the modern web app, a Node.js app. It'll usually do that, but we're going to click Start Building. And now when we're done here, Amanda, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fork. I'm going to make this code public, and then I'll fork it and give it to you, and then you can import it into your Replit account.
Okay.
All right, so what's going to happen here is it's evaluating everything, and it's going to come up with a plan here for us and a visual preview. If we like what it came up with, we'll have to change this name of do you have a name for the app?
Well, I was actually having something similar. I was just going to put a few more letters on the front, EYMM, because that's the name of my course, and then Launchpad. So instead of GPT, I was just going to have EYMM Launchpad.
Right here.
That's probably where it got the idea from.
Yeah, so we'll tell it later to rename it that.
Yeah.
All right, so it's working on the plan. This normally takes about 1 minute to 2 minutes. So from there, I usually don't get too involved in the plan at the beginning. I'm usually like, hey, I'll fix it. I usually just say, yeah, this is great. Sometimes it'll say, hey, do you want to have an advanced analytics dashboard? Well, you think that's cool. It's just more stuff that it's got to start building, and it's getting away from the core. I like to do what we call a prototype. Let's first see, like, do we have the main stuff ready before we start talking about user analytics dashboard? We could always add those things later. All right, so here we go. It says it's going to create an admin interface for GPT management so you can create more, GPT tagging system for future workflow, and public interface for users to browse and run available GPTs. And so this is the look and feel of the app. You see how my little my
My heart is
claymorphism
already
design.
racing as I see it building. It's just like, the dream is coming alive.
Yeah. And by the way, this is more of a visual preview of the aesthetics, not the actual app, but it does that just so that you can say that I'm ready. It looks like it's ready, and I'm just going to click approve plan. And now we're going to jump into that environment that I just showed you before. So we took the long road here, Amanda, but
Yeah.
now that we're here, I think you kind of understand what's going on a little bit more, right? This is our preview. Our files that it's creating are going to be all created here. It's going to create a database and everything like that. So the other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to use my own OpenAI API key. When I send this over to you, you'll have to
Switch it
create,
over.
swap it over to your own.
Yeah.
I love this claymorphism design.
Yeah, it's nice and clean and very user-friendly. I like it.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you went over the GitHub stuff. I remember when my daughter first started learning, like went to school for video game design and programming, that was the very first thing they said is get this, because that's where you're going to be saving everything.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to save everything. All right, so let's see. And then basically you just got to watch this. What coding really is sometimes, it's hard to work and code at the same time. So because it does come back to you every 90 seconds and it's hard to multitask. So generally what if people are saying like, Mike, where do you get the time to code these things? Generally when my work is done at night and I'm watching stuff with Michelle, she's now realized that we're watching some legacy stuff so that I've seen it already. So she doesn't get as mad. She's the type of person that if I do this in the middle of a show, she pauses. I'm like, babe, just leave it. She's like, no, I want to watch this together. And I have to respond to Matt and everything and put it down. And so. Oops.
I totally get that. I do that to Cindy all the time. And I'll be like, no, it's fine. I can hear it. I'm just having a chat with GPT.
Yeah. And the other thing that we both do is, when you're watching a series, somebody falls asleep and then you have to watch. Oh, you fell asleep 40 minutes. I got to watch this again tomorrow. Right. So we do this thing where I'll look over at her, or she does it with me, and I'll look over, and because of her glasses, I'll see this.
Yeah.
And I can't see if her eyes are closed or not, because it's dim in the house. And I'll go like this with my arm. Like if you would be the person, I would go like this. And then she's like, I'm awake. But then 5 minutes later, I'll do it, and she's just out, and I'll change the channel. And she's like, what are you doing? I was watching. I'm like, no, you were sleeping, and I don't want to go to bed because I don't want to deal with this. So
I hit pause and just wait, and I work away until she's ready again.
Yeah. And so the reason why I say that is this takes a certain amount of attention, because the first prototype takes about 3 to 4 minutes. And after that, most jobs will take 30 seconds to 90 seconds. So what I'll usually do is I'll just be laptop like this, watching TV with Michelle, and then I get a notification, and then I'll just go, no, that's not right. We need to do this. Boom. And then I'm back to watching TV. So that's what you'll find coding is. I think or vibe coding. It's a great thing to do when your regular work is done, and just fill it in with your YouTube time or your TV time and stuff like that. And that's how I'm able to be productive and get stuff done. I'm just multitasking with what I used to do when I was just watching TV. So while this is working right here, and what I like about Replit is they're like, look, there's some coding going on in the background, but like you don't really need to know about that stuff. This is for the person that's like, oh, what file are you working on? As we click here, you're starting to see it's built all this stuff out. And just so you know, the reason why it's green, it means that it hasn't been saved. It hasn't been committed yet.
Oh, that's nice. It's got a visual reminder, like you
exactly.
need to save this. That's awesome.
But I usually keep that closed, and I usually just keep my little Git version over here. And what you're going to see is it's working on these files. And what's nice about Replit, it will automatically write the Git message and summary automatically for you, because all developers would just be like, fix bug. And then other people would be pissed off. It's like, we need to do a rollback, and you save 19 times, but I don't really know what's the difference between the work. AI is very good because it'll every commit has a proper description, title, and a full description on what happened. So you don't have to go look at the code to see the difference. The other thing that AI is very good at is you could read the code. Amanda, you, me, anybody here in the chat can actually read the code and kind of understand what's going on because it uses real variables like customer first name, customer underscore first
Right.
name, and initial caps.
Understandable.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and developers, seriously, they will do things like CN equals and then
And
other
that's
developers will
customer
go in
name,
and
yeah.
go, what is CN? Is that chapter nuance? It's like, oh no, that's customer name. It's like, oh,
The CN
but
Tower.
yeah, and seriously, that creates a lot of problems because developers are lazy. So okay, so it needs an OpenAI key. Now I already have one. What I like about this, I didn't even show you here, is this is a global app. So I have this thing called Secrets. So I have my account secrets for everything that I've ever used, OpenAI, anytime it asks me. And then once I have it once, well, guess what? It'll just say, hey, Mike, we need an OpenAI key. Do you want to paste one in here or just use one from previous? And so what I like about Replit is I don't always have to go back and find an API key. If I've done it once, every future app I can usually. Now, you probably want to use a different API key to track your usage, but I don't get
Right.
worried about that. It's getting really cheap. Now, while this is happening, let me give you a couple of examples of some apps that I've created recently. So this right here, these 3 fingers and these 2 fingers, you know what that represents? Hunt and peck. This is how I type. I type like this, you know, kind of like thumb space like that. And these keys do all the work. I type about 45 to 48 words per minute. And I really wanted to learn how I could type better. Now, there are typing games out there that teach you how to type faster, but it's not necessarily teaching you ASDF typing. It's teaching you that you can, how many words do you type per minute? And so I wanted to create an application specifically for hunt and peckers like me that never took a typing class in school and just first started like this and then started putting in but I never graduated past these 2 fingers.
Right.
And this is just the space bar.
The space
right?
bar,
So,
yeah.
so I pretty much just type like this. So take a look at this. I created this app the other day and it's called Keyfall Arcade. And I went on the internet and I found different sounds from like Missile Command and Space Invaders and said, I want to create an app that basically looks like an old style like video game from the 80s that teaches me how to type.
Computer
And
games.
so
Awesome.
what I did is I'm going to have the keys fall in these colors, and they fall in the section of the where they are on the keyboard. This is the keyboard. So now
Yep.
I know what fingers work for what different keys. And you can see the green is basically 2 columns up and down. Your middle finger is the purple. Your ring finger is the yellow. And then your pinky does a lot of work on the right side of the keyboard. So if we click start game, I'll start at medium. Let's go here. And I'm doing this to kill time, but to also show you
While
some
it's
of the
building,
some of
yeah.
the stuff that I'm actually just creating applications for myself so that, and by the way, I'm getting better as an ASDF. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to click start game. I'm putting my finger on ASDF and JKL semicolon. And the word I got to type is they, Shift T, H, E, Y. And now I'm starting to get used to the color coding of what finger. Whoops, I missed a space.
Yeah.
All right. So
I should
N T. Whoop, I missed the apostrophe, I think. Space E A. And I'm typing slow because I don't have the muscle memory for but the more I play this, I'm just showing you basically, and you're going to hear all different sound effects when it crashes and stuff here. Right. So what's nice about this is I'm getting used to the colors. I just see the color. Purple is is this finger, green is this finger, I mean yellow, and my pinky. So I'm learning muscle memory. That's all I'm doing as I'm going through. And my fingers, it's like when you play a guitar, creating a G chord or a D chord or a B chord is very, very difficult at first because your fingers aren't used to doing these different things. And I'm not used to keeping this hand here and moving my pinky over to the
Right.
cue. And just learning those colors, it's helped me become a better typer because I want to learn how
More
to type.
dexterous.
Yeah.
Yeah. I gave
So
my
I'm-
mom my old laptop, and most of the keys are worn out because I just type all the time and I know what the letters are. Oddly enough, she was the one who started the typing lessons when I was a kid. She's forgotten, so I had to buy her stickers to put on the keyboard to show her where the letters were again.
Oh, nice.
So she would love that game.
Because you just know where the letter, yeah. So
Yeah.
well, the reason why I showed that is that it doesn't have to be a complicated app. It doesn't have to be a SaaS application. It could be something for the kids. It could be something to help them do their homework. You'd be surprised. Anything that they're struggling with, you could say, hey, my kid is struggling with this, create an interactive game that'll help, right? And you're just talking to it like you're talking to a developer. Yes, I spent some time giving you a background, a full hour, so that you don't lose your code and break things. But I think it's better that you learn it from me than the hard way and lose everything. You saw me
appreciate
create Click Campaigns, Chat Baser, Brand Baser, Coach Elevate for Mitch the other day. Now we're creating this for you. So I'm going to just rename this right now.
All right.
And by the way, it's done. So what do we want to call it?
EYMM,
EYMM Launchpad.
Yeah.
Now I just hit
just
escape here.
Evergreen YouTube
Yeah.
Marketing Mastery.
Oh, got it. Now you're going to see here, it did 2 commits automatically for us. So it saves the work automatically for us. Okay. What I'm
And an
going to
initial
do
commit.
right now is I'm just going to go to the settings here. It says right here. And I'm just going to push this to my GitHub to show you how it would work. And here's the repository name. This is the YouTube mastery for Amanda. I've already connected my GitHub account. If it didn't,
Then
it
it
would say,
ask you.
click here, you log in, you authenticate, it redirects you back, right? So I'm just going to create repo. And it created the repository that quick. Now, when I go
That's
back, now I see that I can push this branch to main. And you see now I have a branch that's over at GitHub. So now if we go to GitHub, now my work is backed up forever here. And let's just type in EY, was it?
MM. Yeah.
There you are. Your code is now here.
That's cool.
Just like that.
I like
Now-
how quick it puts it in that backup. Do you
Yeah.
ever do a backup of the backup?
Well, I'll show you. The next thing that I do is I download GitHub Desktop once, and then you have it, right? But
Okay.
then I just click on code here, and I click open with GitHub Desktop, and now it's going to take, let me get my app over here so that we actually see it load this, right?
Okay.
I'm going to say open with GitHub Desktop, and it's going to say, hey, we need to clone this repository onto your desktop. So I'm just going to go, okay, clone. And now I've just backed up all of that code. Let me just click fetch, make sure we have it. And so now if we go to my computer here, and we go to in my documents and GitHub, right?
And there it is.
There
I
it
saw
is.
at the top already. Yeah.
Right. And there's all your files just like that from the internet and down.
That's
and
perfect.
so that,
Just have that extra backup, and then you could just have a specific hard drive where you save those things.
yeah. And being that I did it with GitHub Desktop, it keeps all of my servers, everything that I'm working on, all in one place. Any little test app, everything is all in one place. And then
And
I've
is
got
it
this
kind of
little,
like OneDrive or Dropbox where it will like help keep each other up to date if you
yes. So
ask it to?
I'll give you an example. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to click open in cursor. And now I'm going to make a change over here to,
Okay.
let's go into the Replit MD because I'm just going to put a dash here like this. And now I'm going to hit, you see this little circle here? It's not
Yeah.
saved. I'm actually going to save it by hitting Command S. So I just saved it. So the little dot went away. But now when
Okay.
we go to GitHub Desktop, we see we have one file changed. Okay. If we go to Replit, that is not here right now.
Right.
Right. So what I need to do is remember, I did a commit. I didn't do a commit yet. So I haven't actually saved it as I saved it on my computer, but I haven't saved it as a safe zone. a reset point, right? I want to save this. And so this is my first manual commit.
There you go.
Created a safe reset spot. That's essentially what I did, right? Hunt and peck, right? So now when I hit commit, okay, I've created my own commit. Simply all I've done is created a place where if I go into the history, I now have right here, this one, where we could bring things back to at any time. But the only thing is it's not synced with GitHub. GitHub is where everything matters. So now I'm just going to click push. Remember push when we had the original one? Push says just meant sync with GitHub. So I push here to GitHub, and GitHub will have it. If I go to GitHub, we see something here. Usually it'll show us. I forget where it
At
is.
the top, you've got one branch. Would be in there?
Yeah, well, there's only one branch. That's it.
Oh,
It's
main.
main.
Oh,
I'm going to
okay.
show you
Yeah,
the
yeah,
next thing. So now if we go here, you're going to see I don't have that commit. Now I can either do a pull and get it, but I like to do sync because that basically says pull from there and push and let's
push.
sync it.
Yeah.
And every now and then it'll say, hey, you've worked on 2 files in 2 different places. This file changed this file changed that. Which file do you want to give a priority to, right? That'll happen once in a while, but that's because maybe you got 2 people working on it, or you're working on 2 computers, which you shouldn't. So I'm going to click sync and watch what's going to happen right here. There you go. Now it pulled that in, and I forget what we changed. You'll see here, I put a dash in the Replit MD. So if we went to here and I go to Replit, that's not Replit MD. Here, Replit MD, you're going to see
the dash overview dash. You see it right.
Oh yeah, right there. Yeah. Just like that. And so that's it. And so now here's the other thing that I want to show you. If we did a change here, let's just say we everything is in sync on both, which they are right now. But now what I want to do is I want to create a branch called test. Okay. I've created a new branch. Now, before I do that, I want to show you right here. You see, it tells me the branch is main. Okay. Now I'm going to go here and create a new branch called test to break. Now this is the active branch. Watch what happens right here in cursor the second I activate cursor by touching it. Okay. It instantly switches here. So I'm in a new branch. So now if anything I do here is only going to affect this branch, it won't affect the main branch. So now that I've got this new branch, I'm going to publish it. I'm going to go to GitHub. And we're going to see when I refresh the page, we have 2 different branches. So I can work on this particular branch. And now if I go back to here, I can hit this refresh and it's going to refresh. And now once that's done, we're going to notice we have both of those branches here that we could work on. I'm currently working in the main branch here. I should probably switch to test to break. So that way, when I'm pushing everything, it's all syncing together. A little bit more of the advanced stuff. Let's just go back. I'm going to go back to the main branch. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this dash, right? We are going to, I did that in the wrong repository. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to GitHub Desktop. I'm going to delete this repository, which you have to be very careful when you do things like that. But that was just a test.
I'm glad they have the double, are you sure?
Yeah. Leave my changes on main, switch. Okay. So now I'm back to the main branch. Let me see the test branch. This should be, I thought I clicked delete. Let's see. Yes. I didn't click the yes. That's why.
Oh, that's nice that it's got an extra safeguard.
So now I only have one branch. Okay. And it's already been deleted here. So when we go here, we're going to see it's deleted. And now the only other thing that we have to do is on this branch here, the main, we've got to get rid of the overview. I got a little dot right here telling me that I should save it as a state. Now, when we go to GitHub Desktop here, we're going to see that we've made that change here. The green says what's new. The red is what's changed. So you can always go back at any time and say reset back. I'm going to commit it. I've created a safe space. Now I'm going to push it to the origin. Not sure what this view stash is. Discard. Okay. And that's it. So that's what basically GitHub Desktop is. It's just a way to helps sync everything without having to learn all Git commands. And when we go back to Replit, now we're going to start working on your app. We're going to click sync with remote, see reset back, and now the dash is gone in the overview, just like that. All right. And we're also going to notice that we don't have the other branch because I deleted it. Oh,
Right.
I hit
Yeah.
that should go away.
Yeah. Thanks for showing us that, because it's just always nice to have
So-
like two. Yeah.
Yeah, now we can get back to your app. This is your actual app. If we click here, this is actually live on the web right now.
Yeah.
And this is our basic, let me see, public view, admin view. Oh, this is nice. So it
Okay.
knows when you're an admin. So it will go here. I think there's one main thing, guys, that I forgot. I can't believe I forgot it. It was coming to my mind, but I forgot to put it in here. So one of the things that is needed in all of these things, it's one of the most important ones. So I'm going to actually put it over here. Oops. Is you need authentication, as we refer to in the development world as auth. Now, there's a lot of different ways to do auth, and I'm going to tell you like all the complicated ways. There's Google's Firebase. There's open source companies like OAuth, right?
Oh, I've seen that.
Right? There's let me just see here. What are the top 10 auth companies right now for development that handles all of your auth, whether it's open source or SaaS? Keycloak, that's what we use at Groove. I'm surprised there's a couple that I'm really surprised it didn't put that are like really blowing up. Give me the top 10 that are really blowing up recently in the last 2 years. They're for medium and enterprise, not open source. These are not the ones that I'm hearing. I don't know if you have this right. I'm talking about platforms that work with your SaaS application to handle all of your authentication. I'm going down the weeds. I'm just not happy with these answers, to be
I've
honest with you.
noticed like Chat 5 is amazing, but it still needs a little bit of work. It's
Yeah,
not always clear.
Yeah. Oh, this is the one. Work
I
OS.
Yeah, I recognize WorkOS. Yeah.
Yeah, Work OS is really, really big for auth. And again, I'm going to say I went down the rabbit hole with all of these different things. Oh, they do auth for OpenAI and Cursor and all these different things. But I'm like, it doesn't matter. Why? Because Replit, just to start your app really quick, does this, right? And I'm just going to put here. So we now need to get back. I messed up. I closed the chat by accident. So we're just going to click right here and open up a new pane, add pane to the right. I put it in the wrong place. So add pane to the left. And I'm going to, you can just type in what you want. We're looking for the agent like that. Now we're back. Okay. So I must have closed that by accident. So what we're going to do here, we're going to say this. Do me a favor, add authentication to the application. Let's keep it simple for now. Let's just use Replit Auth. And what that means is you, to test the app, can just sign in with Replit, just like you sign in with Google. Once you have your Replit account, you can just sign in and use it. Later, what you'll say is something like this. Great, the app is getting ready for production. Please create me a login page, a registration page, and a forgot password page. And let's create a real authentication system where the user creates their own username and password. You'll just say that and it'll just create it for you, just like that. But right now we're in the prototype stage and we don't want to spend the 10 minutes to do that. We just want to be able to do that. Now, the next thing is you have this little thing here called add to queue. Okay. And you could say, great, let's change the application name to whatever. And then you can just click add to queue and it'll automatically send it when the next one's done. I'm going to delete that right now. We don't need that queue. So you can start stacking your queue. I'm going to give you guys a little tool that I created called vibebucket.io. It's free. And you'll use it for exactly what I just said right there. You're going to notice, Amanda, when you have all of these things that you want to do, they're all in your head. And you're like, it's kind of like that Simon game I said before. You're going to be like, well, I want to do this. I want to do this. I want to do this. And then you're keeping it all in your head, or you have like these text pads of, we need to fix this. What I did is I created this little thing called Vibe Bucket. It's free. You create your own project, and you'll see I have, let me see here. See who I'm logged in as. I need to log out and log in as Mike Filsame at Gmail. Ooh, invalid credentials. There we go. So you can see when I'm working on a particular project, these are the things that I still have to work on. So not only is it like a Trello board, but what
Yeah.
I'm doing is I'm writing the prompt ahead of time. So as soon as the app is ready, I'm like, okay, what do I want to work on next? I just click copy, and then I go to Replit
And pop that
and I
in.
hit paste.
Yeah.
And it already wrote the prompt for me, and then I go back to watching TV. So it's a way to stack your future prompts and make sure that all of your ideas that you're working on, you can prioritize them in what order you want to work on them. So this is a great way to use your time while the app is working, rather than just waiting, okay, what do I want to work on next? You're literally
already be
writing
thinking
every
through,
single prompt and thinking everything that you want to do. And it's kind of like a Trello board, but it's literally made to write the prompt rather than say, let's work on this. You're actually writing the prompt. Okay. So that's called vibebucket.io. All right. So now, Amanda, we're going to get into the crux of building your application now.
And I see in there too that it has the ability for you to upload things like files and such. So for example, if you wanted to have your logo, you can upload that into there instead of the little purple box kind of thing.
Yes. So what I did when I was working on this for Mitch,
yeah, he's got the little brain in there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just so simple, right? I simply said, hey, add a little thing here. Mitch is like, where do we put the bonus in the app? I said, I'll put a little book here. So I literally said, just put a little book icon in the bottom. When the user clicks on it, open up a pop-up modal like this, right? And then if we go to Mitch, who's literally asking me, got a minute? Matt says the music sounds drunk, LOL. All right. So he said he sent this to me the other day. Here's his book, I think. Oh, no, that was the customers. Somewhere in here, he said, here's his book, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe not. But maybe he emailed it. I could have sworn that he sent me, what's this? Okay, so here's the book. And then I just took a screenshot of that and used that as the cover. And so I said to Replit, I said, hey, what I want to do is, and I drag the image in just like this. I'll just take the image and I'll drag it and I'll say like that. And then I'll go to my Finder and see where that is. I'll find something, let's see my downloads. Let's just say this was a PDF, right? And I'll take something like this and I'll drag it in and I'll say, use the image that the first image that I gave you. When somebody clicks on something in the bottom of the app, make a pop-up modal showing that. And then when they pop-up modal comes, allow them to open the PDF in the browser or as a zip file, just like that. And then I hit send. Right? So let's clear that out. We don't want to mess up your app. I'm just showing what I did.
Yeah.
And then with Mitch's app, what happens is it literally just designed this beautifully. And
Nice.
it took the image and then it said open in browser or download as a
Or
zip.
download as
So
zip,
like
yeah.
that's all coding really is. And now that I've shown you understanding the back end, the rest is just talking to it, saying, now make it do this, now make it do that. So let's see where we are with yours. At this point with authentication, it's done. So if we go over to here and I click login, it should have a little login with Replit. And so now I'm going to click right here. It's going to authenticate. It's going to pull my name. It might even welcome me here. And I could even say something like say, welcome the user by his first name. All right. So now we've basically got what I would call the infrastructure, right? And so now what we want to do is this is how I think it's easier to code or program an app. This is my way to do it. I like to build the user interface first. And then imagine once you have the user interface built, you can just say, okay, let's move on to the third tab. See that user interface? Now let's make it functional. So I'm kind of like designing the app ahead of time. So if we go into chatbaser.ai, I will let you know right now that the app, I believe, is fully functional. And guess what? Look, I didn't even do auth yet for it. And guys, don't create usernames. I'm telling you, you're going to be disappointed. I go in and I delete everything. I was working on that. I was on my website. This is in prototype stage right now. Okay. But you'll notice that if I go into here, the sources, I believe this is working. I haven't fully tested it yet. But again, I focus on building the user interface. So how do I do that? I'll go to, let's just do this, chat base, add knowledge sources. Sometimes because maybe they change the interface, I'll just go like this and copy this image right here. I swear to you. And I drag it in. I say, when the user adds stuff, do this, but remove Notion because we're not doing Notion integration. It's truly, truly that simple. If you don't want to do that, what you can do is you can come to Excalidraw, which is a free app. You've been seeing me use it a lot more, and you can start creating your own wireframes, right? And write in it and say it should look something like that. And the other thing that you can do is this vibe.us. Now that I'm using Vibe, I'm getting that. If you go to Vibe, this right here, if you have an iPad with a pencil, an Apple Pencil, or any type of tablet, you can draw. Okay, so you can just get your iPad out like I have right here, and you can draw things out. And this is an actual canvas that allows you to, let's see, where's the pencil, right? If imagine this was, me using my iPad. So there's a couple of different ways that you can do it. And the final way that you can do it, Amanda, is you can just talk to it. You can say something like, I'm sure you're familiar with ChatGPT. I want my user interface to look like ChatGPT. I want conversations on the left, and I want this, blah, blah, blah. I want a chat thing on the bottom and everything like that. So now that we get here, I think the next thing that we go to is we've created the infrastructure. We don't want to let the prototype dictate the future look and feel of the app. We may not, and I'm not crazy sure I like these little blue dots here. They're starting to like stack and they look silly. So this is where we say what we want the welcome dashboard to look like. What would you want the welcome dashboard to look like?
Right, where they choose either a library, right? So we could have like a little book.
Yeah, so let's actually do this.
Okay.
Let's go to Excalidraw, and let's create a new one.
All right.
And you'll tell me on the main dashboard, do you want there to be a sidebar, a top bar, and a center container? And when we look at something like that, we're talking about something like, let's go to Chatbaser and log in. I thought I was logged in already. Okay, that's this is a top bar that allows us
Right.
to do things like this. It says breadcrumbs where we are in the app. And then we have little navigation here where if we look at something like this,
Yeah, that's nice. Where on the left, if they already have projects, exactly.
right? Yeah, you could have all of
Right,
this,
yeah.
right?
But then
Okay.
the dashboard is just like the quick finder.
Yeah. Okay. So what we're going to do is we are literally going to say this, just like this. We're going to go to Replit, pink, and we're going to take that screenshot. And I'm going to use, you got to be careful when you say refactor. That's one of the most dangerous words because you're giving it permission to like redo the code, not just use the interface. So I'm going to say redo the interface to be a traditional application with a sidebar where we're going to have primary navigation and maybe nested navigation. I want the logo in the top left. Please come up with a nice logo icon. And I want to have a top bar for information, breadcrumbs, and avatar in the top right, where you could click the avatar in the top right and it'll show things like log out, edit profile settings, etc. And then a center main container where most of the content is going to be. And for the main dashboard, let's start on the navigation. Let's have a navigation link that says dashboard, and please move the current information that you have to the main dashboard.
Yeah, all right.
All right. And it's from here, it starts becoming more of the same, right? Like this thing goes to work for 2 to 3 minutes, and then you'll really start to understand why I created Vibe Bucket. It's because, oh, you know what I want to work on next? Well, then let's write that prompt right now and store it. And that way you can either work, multitask, or watch TV or whatever you're doing the laundry, and it's done, copy, paste, send, and go do work. And sometimes it's been done for a half hour. I haven't had a chance to get back. But for the most part, all I'm doing is prompting ahead of time and just saying, do this. The only difference is this is one of the most important things. After you do a prompt and it gives you something, test. And that might open up a new rabbit hole, right? I might want to move on to this part next, but you know what?
Don't move on until you test. Yeah.
The pop-up modal is centered, it's left justified, wherever. So you want to iterate, make sure it looks nice, test, make sure everything's good, and then you move on to the next big thing. So what we're going to see here right now, it's perfect. I can see you want a traditional app layout, exactly. And so it's creating that, as we saw here. It's writing all this stuff lightning speed, by the way. And then what's nice about using React, this stuff will usually just automatically update for us.
Exciting. And it makes me think too, like, because as part of it, I wanted to have an admin side where I could add in new GPTs or take them out or whatever, but I could just step that extra pass and then just go straight into the Replit and adjust things there if I have new ones. Like, do you have any suggestions? What would be better that way?
Say that again.
So
the first part?
Yeah. So as the admin, if I create a new GPT that I want to include, should I just do that in here in the Replit area?
So that's what we're doing here, right? You
instead
can,
of
right? And sometimes I'll just take a spreadsheet and I'll say, hey, here are the archetypes that I want, just build it for me. But then you start realizing, like in Click Campaigns, if we go into the workspace, you'll see I have admin right here. I'm the only one that sees that. And so admin, I have these different things where I can create a marketing specialist.
Okay,
and then
that's kind of what I wanted, a nice clean area where I could be adding GPTs or agents, that kind of thing. Yeah.
So some of the best things to do is just, log into certain apps like HeyGen, which uses claymorphism, and like look at certain things and just like screenshot and say, I want it to look something like this, but, and and that type of stuff. So for the most part, okay, so we got something broken. Let's see if it's still coding. If it's still coding, that's okay. If not, what you'll do is you'll just copy this and go, app is broken, right? It fixes it.
Yeah.
Let me show you another. Ooh, look at this. Oh my God. Do you see
Look
that?
at that.
Now let me show you
2.4K.
something that's going to happen sometimes. Okay. You're going to be asked it's going to say, hey, I've tried to fix it 3 or 4 times. We can't seem to fix it. Can you do me a favor? I put some code into the application. Can you go into the console and get me this error? This used to scare me. I'm going to show you how you fix it. So let's just see if this is restarting. Folks, that's, the problem, not the problem, and by the way, guys, we'll get back to all of your Q&A. I see a lot of questions and we'll get to that. The thing that we have with these types of demos is the AI agent takes 2 to 3 minutes sometimes to do something. So we have to find ways to create filler content in between. So that's what I want to show you right now. Is I'm just waiting for this thing to reboot, but if not, I'll just do it here with Chatbaser. Sometimes it'll say I put something into the console logs for the browser that you could tell me, and it injects like testing stuff. What you have to do, Amanda and everybody, is you hit right click and you hit inspect. There's other ways to do it like F12, but that's usually what I'll do, right? And then I go make sure I have console. If I don't have it here and this is closed or something like that, I'll click on the console tab here. But just as long as you're on the console, right click and click copy console, because it'll say, do you see any errors? And you're trying to like copy this, just copy everything, good, bad, and indifferent, and then go back to Replit, and this is what it wants, and just paste, right? Sometimes it will tell you that it needs the terminal or the shell, and that's here, and we see everything that's running in the app. And usually it could read this by itself, but sometimes I'll copy and paste information from here and say, hey, we got this error, but very rarely, usually it could read all of that. So this should be wrapping up any second. But
Yeah,
man, is this creating a gorgeous app. The other thing that I want to let you know, fortunately for ChatGPT 5, if we do this, this is what's good about ChatGPT 5, but not Claude, and Replit is using Claude. Can you do me a favor? Can you tell me what is the latest API that I want to be using with ChatGPT? I don't want you to search the internet. It should tell me the responses API. Okay, it's wrong. They haven't even updated ChatGPT 5. Wrong. Use internet. That's sad. Even ChatGPT 5. Unless ChatGPT, see, the rumor is ChatGPT 5 is not ChatGPT 5. ChatGPT 5 is ChatGPT 4, ChatGPT 3, ChatGPT Omni 4.1, and all these different things. And the router is picking those things, and they just called it ChatGPT 5. So now it says that OpenAI, let me just see here, RESPON, this is the new API. It's the responses API. So this is the next thing. I'm going to future-proof your app for you. And everybody needs to know this, because the apps, when they're going through, they're going to read the code and go, oh, you've set this up wrong, because it doesn't understand the structure. And it says, I'm going to go back and replace it back to chat completions and watch this. I understand that the Assistance API is going to be deprecated in 2026. Is that correct? That means Groove AI will stop working. It has to be refactored to this. You're absolutely correct. So watch this. I'm having a problem every time I'm working with Replit or any application like Cursor or Claude Code. It keeps seeing my OpenAI responses API. It doesn't recognize it. It thinks something is wrong, and it rewrites it back to the Assistance API and the Chat Completions API. What can I do to avoid this? Now, I already know the answer to this.
See if it's correct.
Yeah.
It's a bigger question.
So I'm going to show you what we have to do to hard code this in to your application.
Okay.
While we're doing that, let's see what we got over here. Your app is ready. And let's do a refresh. Okay, now the second I click stop running, you're going to see we lost the app here. So it's on the web, and I can share the URL with you. But the second I close the browser, we're going to lose it. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to actually deploy this app to the web, and then I'll put it in the chat and everybody can actually see it. So
There you
we're
go.
going to click the deploy button, and you know, maybe I won't do that because then I'm tying this to my stuff. I'm going to wait until I fork it over to you. You'll just hit deploy and click approve and configure, and it'll deploy it. Right
Okay.
now, if everybody wants to see the URL that we're doing, I'll paste it into the chat, and it'll start and stop as we're working because this is a temporary development environment. But what do you think so far of this dashboard?
I love it. It's nice and clean. I really wanted something that would be nice and clean and easy to navigate. So I like the recent activity, the different, I like that you've got the GPT tools on the side. So yeah, there are things I'd want to add. I can already see how I would change things around, but no, this is cool.
It looks like it made pages for everything. Okay,
Mhm.
here's one
That's incredible.
I don't know if I like that logo,
It kind
but
of
we can always
I'm
change
not
that
sure
later.
what that is, but
Yeah, but here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say capture failed. Why? Okay, I'm going
if
to
I
say
upload
this.
my AI bot logo to our shared drive, could you pop that one in just to test and see?
Oh, sure, absolutely. Yep.
Okay, let me go do that.
Oh, did I close Replit by accident? Oh, I had it open twice. Hold on. Let's refresh. I accidentally closed it. Okay. Let's go to preview. It's live, and let's go here and say, throughout the application, you have a lot of these things without an icon. Is that a design choice or not? I would prefer to have an icon in all of these sections. Please go through all of the pages that you have made when logged in, and please add that. Also, please create a SAS landing page for the main index of the website, and also create a readme.md file for the app. Those are just standard things that we're going to want. All right. So, and you're sending me something in.
Yeah, I just sent the wrong one. Give me 1 second here. I'll get
Okay.
the larger version. Ignore that first blurry one. So it's in the
Oh,
main
where
folder.
are you sending it? Oh, in the folder?
Yeah, it's still not the right one. Just trying to figure out where it is.
Oh, gotcha. This looks like more like a favicon.
Yeah. Here, use that clearer one. I'll delete the other two, so it's not confusing. It's a bigger one, but it doesn't matter. It's just to
This one right
get an
here?
idea.
Okay.
Yeah, so just use that
well,
one.
here's what I can do.
Oh,
I
and then you
can
can just grab the section. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's just do this.
That was my white label of Groove AI.
Yes, I remember.
My plan was to eventually put all my GPTs into that, but now we're going to do this instead.
Now you got to get your own. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And the cool thing is everybody gets to learn how to do this, so it's super cool.
There we go. So we're going to take that, go here, and say, we're going to put this in the queue. In the top left corner of the app and on the index page, make this the icon next to the logo, and please make it appropriately sized with the logo. We'll put that in the queue. All right.
I have a clearer one later, but like for a quick find, I'm like, you know what? This is a good, just to get a feel for how it works, right?
Yeah, exactly. And we're just going to see that show up here in just a minute. All right. So now that we basically built the infrastructure of the app. What I want to do is I want to see what ChatGPT said about, okay. I'm going to be very polite. I'm not always polite to ChatGPT. Sometimes I call it a knucklehead. Okay, listen, I'm using Replit. And first of all, even you are wrong right now. We don't want to be using ChatGPT 4.0 mini. Shame on you. You should know that the latest model to save money is going to be GPT-5-mini. Isn't that correct? And I don't need all the technical jargon. Please give me a prompt that I could tell Replit what to do and where to hard code it. I'm dealing with an AI agent. Just write the prompt. You want just a clear, bossy prompt for your Replit.
Bossy.
Okay. That's great. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to give it some context to research. Please include a link to the Responses API doc and also a link online that shows that the Assistance API is being deprecated. Also tell it in the OpenAI files in the code to hard code with comments, not to change it, and put a note for future AI agents to understand that their world knowledge is not up to date, that there has been a new API, all other APIs are being deprecated, and in the comments, give them links to articles. So basically what we do is there are these instruction files called like replit.md. Cursor has it called cursor.md. And what it will do is it will write the code and it'll say, attention, future developers and other AI agents, do not change this code. Your instinct may be to because sometimes they'll be like, oh, ChatGPT 5.1, never heard of it. Let's go back to Omni. And you're like, oh my God, when did this change, right? And you'll fight with these things over. That is one of the problems. Now, I haven't read all the questions here, and I know some of you guys might be screaming about, Mike, you should be using Context 7. I do. It's beyond the scope of me teaching you how to add an MCP right now for up-to-date documentation. And yes, I use Context 7 and I use different MCPs to avoid some of this stuff, but this is a good practice. So we're going to literally come into Replit right now and look at that. Now, what happened is it actually—
That looks amazing.
Yeah, but it put the PNG background.
Oh, it
there.
did. It put the You're
Yeah,
right.
it hard-coded that. So we'll leave that for now. We can fix that later.
That's
So
fine.
what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say, please factor that into the application right now. So now I'm setting you up that you are, it's going to refactor the application, not to use the chat completions API, certainly not to use the assistance API, because what the responses API is, all that complicated stuff from last year where we were talking about RAG and vector databases and file storage and all these complicated things that you needed with the assistance API, they've created one API that for one line you could add video, images, code interpreter, data analytics, chat completions, upload a file, talk to the files, all the file storage. It does all of that automatically for us. So when we have something like this, right here, all of this, I simply just said, hey, put Mitch's book in as file, let it read that file before it answers. And I want a little paperclip that when the user drags a file, and like all this stuff used to be so complicated. The responses API was like, oh my God, it's a unified API with all of the models and images and video all in one. So what we've done right now is we've told the API right here, go read this so that you know. And not only do I want you to know right now, but in the future, if I ask you to make a change in the background, because we don't see this code that's happening, right? Because it's happening, it writes all this, and we're not reading every line of code. We don't want it to ever go back and change this here. All right. So, all right, Amanda. So I think that we've created probably the base of the application. What I want to get to right now, because I don't completely understand, is
do we want to try importing one of the GPTs just to see if that works?
Yes.
Or...
Now, do you have a ton of GPT instructions? Is that what this was here, or this?
Yes, I wasn't sure
more...
if I could link it to the custom GPT, or if I would just put in the coding that like the prompt that I created for each one.
Here's how I would do it. Here's how I would do it. Okay, I would do it like this. I would let's just go to Google Docs. and then back out and go to Sheets, right? And I would create a sheet like this, and I would maybe call it like GPT name,
Right.
right? And I would put instructions like model, right? But I would probably just say use GPT-5 mini. And by the way, you want to use GPT-5 mini. You don't
Mini.
need to use GPT-5. The mini for chatbots and things like that is really, really good. And it's going to cost you about $1.50 for 1 million tokens, right? So like it's like it'll cost you $3 if your customers are really using it for a full year. So you're going to put instructions right here, just like that. And maybe make it like that. And I don't even know, let's just see. I don't even know if you need to worry about the wrapping.
One below.
Yeah, let's see what happens. All right, so then what we want to do, you'd probably want to sort it to format to wrap or
Wrap.
yeah, wrap. Yeah, so I would do it like that. And then when I would be done with it, I would just click download. And then I would say, create all these GPTs. I wouldn't even add that much more. I would say, hey, as an admin, I want all users to have access to these GPTs, right? It has the name. And you might even say, please come up with an icon for each GPT for me. It's pretty good at coming up with the icons. I stopped worrying and sweating over all of those different things. And in some
I have
cases,
them already, so I could probably
oh, you
just
do,
give
yeah,
them. Yeah.
yeah. Like if you look at the Coach Elevation, you'll see here. I didn't even look at these. I'm like, yeah, whatever. These are cool for me. It's more about the aesthetics look, of the app. I don't, but you could always go back later. But the nice thing that I like about the icons is I'm letting it use the SVG icons out of an icon library. So it's not actually an image. It helps the page load very, very quickly. Even this right here is it's just a brain icon, right? So let's go back and see where you're at here. And it's done. All right. So your app is now fully ready to work with GPT-5 mini. And it's ready. Okay. So you want to give me instructions and we'll create a GPT?
Do you want me to just copy and paste one into our Teams chat?
Yep.
Okay. Let me just find a nice quick one. I'll mute for a second so you don't hear click, click, click.
Sure. No problem. Right. I'm trying to find my production URL here. And I want to know why my GPTs, oh, it's working now. Dashboard, GPT tools. Oh, it didn't add icons here. Let me see. I got to tell it. That's here. Hey, on the navigation for GPT tools, when I go to the page, I'm still seeing blank icons. Is there something wrong? Are there icons there and there's a problem with the CSS, or you deliberately have them blank? Either way, fix it. Also, you'll notice that the icons are shrinking when the page screen gets thin. I want to keep the cards at a maximum size. So add some collision detection so that the cards move from 2 columns to 1 column, etc. But I don't like that the cards are changing size and that the icon is changing size. Let me give a better example of that. There's my escape. Escape not working.
All right. So in Teams there,
Okay.
I just put the prompt in of, that I have for writing a blog post, for example, using
Okay.
a specific layout structure for
Not sure
evergreen
what
YouTube
happened there.
marketing.
I'm just getting a screenshot of this.
Yep.
And I'm going to send that in. And while you do that, we will we'll get yours.
Mm-hmm. I just literally pasted the text into one of our conversation pieces.
Okay, so this is the instructions.
Yeah, that's the instructions for the prompt, like for the
Okay.
GPT.
And this would just be a regular GPT, right? Like,
Yep.
okay, no wizard. Okay, great.
Yeah.
So what I recommend for something like this is we open up the text edit app and we will, what is the name of this GPT?
It's the Evergreen blog post master.
Okay. Evergreen blog post master. Let's actually do that right so that it, we'll name it right.
Just an N at the end of green.
Thank you. Hunt and Peck.
There you go.
All right, now that we have that, we are going to go to Finder, and where would I put that? Dropbox, desktop, downloads, iCloud Drive. Here it is. Okay, we will bring this here and say, do we have this poem generator? Okay.
Me too.
Okay, when we prototyped the app in the GPT tools, we created a temporary GPT called Poem Generator. Let's create the first GPT. I'm going to have you create it rather than creating it in the admin. I want to call it Evergreen Blog.
Postmaster.
Oh, you know what? I can't hear you when I'm doing that. Interesting. I just found that out. Blog Post Master.
There you go.
I have attached the custom instructions. For now, please come up with a cool icon for it and replace the poem generator. All right, so this is interesting. Okay, I'm going to give it one more prompt. Make the GPT look like normal cards that you would get like from a traditional website. And again, have them have a fixed width. When you're displaying the public GPTs, give a little icon where you could change it from list view and tile view.
Nice.
Okay. So there's an expression that I tell people. It's creating, when you create an application, the first 99% takes 99% of the time. The other 1% takes the other 99% of the time. So getting the main prototype is easy. Then all this little fine-tuned detailing, these are little habits that I've had that I've picked up along the way that just to, make it look better. And I get ahead of it from the beginning. Otherwise, I have to go back and do all this UI work at the end. But basically, let's see what happens with the admin. And if we have the feature to allow me to create a GPT. So,
right. And I'm thinking, since we're having it now create one for us, or like upload one for us, one of the conversations we could have with it.
Sorry to interrupt you. It looks like
Oh, yeah.
ChatGPT has a limit
Oh,
on
okay.
this. It just automatically stopped the recording. And so let me click record and get part 2 going here.
All right.
There we go. All right, so that's part 2. So you've got like a typical custom GPT. You have the name and a description. Description is only for users. I don't know why you have short description and description. Icon, this is great. We want to add custom, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or the ability to type. Or we can even say, let AI decide, right? Tags, not sure what that is, and the system prompt. Tags are for users, I guess, so that they could search. But I don't know if that's necessary. If you're only going to have like 20, if you have like 500, that's probably important. Do you want to get rid of any of these, or like there's a purpose for this? The short description is going to show up like here, right? And then the long description is like, tell me more about this app.
The tags is handy because as it grows,
okay,
and it might help it organize it better too. Who knows? We'll see how how we build it out.
All right. So let's see.
And possibly
GPT tools.
the option, although I know it
See
takes a
that?
little bit more memory, is to actually upload the individual icons for the GPTs.
Yeah. So what we would literally do is let's just talk about how we want to factor that.
Okay.
Right. So when we create a GPT, and look at, you see what I like about this, Amanda? Like, no offense to my programmers. Programmers are path of least resistance. Mike asked me to do this. If I had the time, I would make it perfect. But he's also asked me these 10 other things, and we're on the State of the Groovian, and he gets a new idea. And then when we're doing courses GG, there's a list, and users want this, and they're trying to hammer out Trello cards. You know what my developer wouldn't do? He wouldn't
What's
add
that?
this. He wouldn't add this right there so that you could just do this yourself. AI just does all of these nice little things automatically for us that I just love,
Yeah.
So let's do this. We're going to say, okay, when you're an admin, and by the way, later, Amanda, you have to tell it what email address is an admin. So only this email
Only-
address when logged in, or these email addresses when logged in, sees admin.
Okay.
And just saying that these are things that as a developer, but as a vibe coder, you're making that, oh, this is cool and everything. People are literally publishing these things and not realizing, oh, I didn't know that I was that everybody could see that. So try to keep those things in
I
mind
guess
too.
you learn that pretty quickly when somebody goes in and changes your stuff and you're like, wait.
Yeah, exactly. Has access to a bank account or something.
Oh gosh.
Okay,
And of course, you
when
probably
you
want
click on the admin on the sidebar,
Oh.
there's the ability to create a custom GPT. In the creation of the custom GPT, I want a few abilities. Number one, I want the ability to upload a custom icon. Number two, I want a full icon search feature where I can search, I can put the keyword like money and see all the icons that are related to it. So I can have access to a full icon library, even though you're giving me a suggestion in the dropdown. Anything else? Oh, custom files.
Yes.
Right? Knowledge.
And that they can put it into projects.
What's that?
And that they can organize them into projects because they're going to be doing videos over and over.
Okay. Well, the user will, I'll stay on the creation process, and then later we'll tell them that they could organize them. We want to say also what is missing from the custom GPT is, as an admin, I want the ability to upload pre-given knowledge. So I want to be able to upload text files, PDFs, etc. So we need that in the input. And furthermore, when the user is using the GPTs, I want them to be able to have a paperclip next to the chat interface to allow them to upload their own documents to use with the GPT. And you'll notice here I said paperclick, and
then you change it.
Yeah, and that's what I love about this tool is it just picks up on that. It's using AI, and it's bullet pointing my thoughts and everything.
I had a quick question for you. So for example, that logo at the top, we know that we need to give it a different one, right? It's just talk to the agent saying, please change that. Is there also a way to say, can you find where that is? And then you could just literally put in the different code, or?
Well, what I would do is I would drag in the correct one, right? So let me see if I could actually fix that in here. So let's first see if I can actually change the background to white. I thought I did this, white. And if I can change it to white, all right, then what I can do is I can change the fill to a true transparent. I actually took a screenshot of the transparency.
Right,
so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to flatten this. Okay, let's, I think I have this wrong. I think we need the opacity like this. Yeah. All right, now we've created a true transparent background. So what we're going to do is now we're going to go back to here
Yeah, you can
and put
see
this
that
in the
it's,
queue.
yeah.
Yeah, you can see. I've created a better icon for the logo in the application for the index page and in the top left corner of the application that has better PNG transparency. Can you please swap it out? That's it. It'll go find it. It knows where all these things are. If we look here, there's usually something called public, where our files are.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Where is it?
Attached assets. These are the things I think I'm uploading. Yeah, so attached assets, this is everything that I've uploaded. So it's probably, oops. We don't need this. So let me
Would it be in the server area or not? No.
just see
Just trying to
here.
remember when I used to upload to the FTP.
Yeah,
and all
so
that
it's
kind of stuff.
probably one of these already. So it just puts it in attached assets. So everything that we've added, it called
Has
here.
it there. Okay.
Yeah. All right, so let's close our
Now, when you're
files.
asking it to do something, you should let it complete one task before putting the next task in, right? Which is why we had that other place that you showed us where we could put our tasks that we want to
Yeah,
work
if you're
on.
really starting to build ideas, use 5bucket.io. It's free.
Mhm.
Right here, I just put the next one in, add to queue, so it's automatically going to roll in.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But so yeah, I just put it in, and instead of it'll always say add to queue if something's working. But what we want to do is we want to remember that we gave it instructions, and so what happens is it's going to collapse this entire conversation as soon as the next conversation starts. So what you have to do sometimes to go back is you have to, like you can see,
To reopen up the.
yeah, sometimes you
list,
have
yeah.
to go in and actually see the work that it did. So like even now, like we're telling it to fix the when you create the GPT. And sometimes it's happening in real time, so we could actually refresh and sometimes and it'll start and stop the server as it's working, but let's actually see if it added any of these features in yet. It hasn't.
So, yeah.
Not that I can see. Yeah. So it's still working on that stuff. And so I think you're getting the picture that, sometimes these things take 5, 7, 10 minutes, depending on the
Yeah.
prompt. So you've got to
I'm
find a
excited
way.
though to go
Yeah.
in and get my fingers in there.
Yeah. Most of the time that I'm doing this, like this is not taking up any other time that I would, like I get all my work done. This has actually made me work more because what I'll do, Michelle will be like, babe, are you coming up? Babe, I'm working, right? What I'm actually doing is I'm watching YouTube videos at 11:30 at night about ChatGPT 5. And then I'll look over on the side of my screen, oh, it's done. And I'll test the work and I'll be like, no, move it to the left. And then I go back to watching YouTube. So it's a new way of working. You almost have to picture like, it takes enough of your time that you can't do any other creative work,
Mhm.
but you have to picture it's like your developer that's in Brazil or Canada or whatever said to you, "Hey, Mike, I'm available at 7:00," and you're working with him or her on Slack or Microsoft Teams and saying, "Yeah, can you do me a favor? Can you change that?" "Sure, I'll be right back." The only thing is, they used to come back in 3 days. And be like, "Oh, that's not really how I wanted it." What's so nice about this is you're getting iteration in real time. And so I've always said development is about settling. Courses.gg, a lot of that was settling. The developers, "Oh, you did it that way? I would have done it this way." And like you just have to settle so you can move on and get new features. When you're
Right.
creating an application like this, you're literally creating the app exactly the way that you want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little break and I'm going to bring in the webinar chat here. I bet we've got a ton of questions that we've been ignoring people. And maybe not, we'll see. And we'll go through some of the Q&A here. And now you don't see my webinar chat, right? That I'm spinning around the screen, right? Only I see that?
We don't see that. We do see like
Okay.
the chat on the side. Oh yeah, no, that it's called webinar chat.
Yeah,
don't
but
know
you
if
don't
that's.
see me highlighting text right now from the chat. Like I think Zoom hides
Oh no, we're just still
hides
seeing
the user
the launch
interface.
pad. Yeah,
Okay,
no.
great. All right, so let's see. This is all the great seeing you here. The 149 a month. Just found mine October. I wonder if I should go backwards so it's more in context, but because now we're going to be going all the way back to the beginning. All right, this is the last
replays
one I
would be
saw.
great.
What will be in scale? Will we be an affiliate for the scale launch? Yes, you will. Would you mind making the text bigger? Okay, now we know where we are. Where is the recording going to be posted, guys? We're going to post this recording inside of the on YouTube, unlisted, and then post it inside of the Workflow app Facebook group. All right. Have you posted any doc links yet? No, we haven't. So what I will do, guys, ladies and gentlemen, you know, Mike Koenigs, he got in my head, said, Mike, you have to stop saying guys. You
Peeps.
have to, yeah. He says you don't understand. It's 55% women. You're going to be pissing off some of them, not all of them, but some of them don't like it. And Donna told me, I call my team guys, and they're mostly girls. I'm like, I know, but it's in my head now. Okay, I don't know how to get back to the beginning. How do we go here? Where is dashboard? Duh. Okay, so I promised I would share this with everybody. Okay, so let's do that right now, and we're going to enable, and I will let you edit. No, view, yes, copy, paste into the chat, and you can now get that document in the chat. Now let's get back to let's leave the app running so that you actually see something back here. Let's get back to, oh, there's not a lot of questions. Can you come back to me later regarding my lifetime access to all lifetimes I have bought from you, including Workflow, Groove Suite, Groove AI certification? Love you very much. I see the 2 emails. Do me a favor, Bjorn, 516-315-558-35. That's my number. I put it in the chat. Shoot me a text. I'll get you a VIP help and answer all your questions. All right. Sorry, my quick question. I'm at work selling RVs. All right. I've not been able to attend the sessions. I've not been able to access the recordings either. Where would I find these? Okay. So I forgot to mention, when you go to workflowapp.ai, I'm sorry, it's app.workflowapp.ai, right?
Yeah.
If you remember, you all got access to this, right? So when you sign in, okay, forget my credentials. Who do I sign in with this with? Okay, let's see here. Let's do this. This is Workflow app. Let's try that one. Workflow app, N8N, Workflow app, Mike at groove.cm. Let's sign in with Google. Is that working? Okay. Now, I don't know if I have the right account here. I probably don't. Oh, I'm an admin. Sorry, guys. Let's close that tab. Showing email addresses. I apologize. So let's go back to app. Make sure I do this over here so it doesn't reopen again because I have to log out. I know I have an account that I created with Mike at groove.cm. Okay. So my one password worked now. It didn't work before. So guys, what we like to do is when you log into app.workflowapp.ai, there's the AI command center. And then over here, it says training. And then we put the training. And I got to see if we put the last one here. I thought we did. And we put all of the training. Maybe I think the last one was in June. Let's see. Yep, that was me. I'm going to give them the 6 months. So your training for August will be right here, okay? And then you'll just find it right in this AI Command Center, third one called training, all right? So all of the past replays of all the trainings that you could make selling RVs are there, okay? And I'll also post it.
The newest is at the top, right?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, let's see. Is it still working here? I'll update the logo. Okay. So that should update the logo in just a second.
And it's just refreshing.
All right, it's probably still working.
Yeah.
Perfect. I see the current logo. Now I'll swap it out with the old robot. Look, what's crazy? It even knows it's a robot. Isn't that
It
crazy?
figured it out. That's
It has
cool.
so much context.
Yeah.
and it looks good.
Nice.
It looks like I left a little speck there.
That's
I
fine.
probably
That's to
missed,
be
but
worked
yeah.
with. Yeah, that's fine.
All right. So let's see if
And
I've got a
we-
GPT tool.
So have a look under GPT tools. Let's see if it put one in there.
Okay, I still see the poem generator. Okay, let's find out what happened here. Hey, Bubba, why am I still seeing the poem and I'm not seeing the GPT I asked you to create in GPT tools? And let's look at the admin and see if it changed that. Create a GPT. Yeah, look at that.
Okay.
Choose
and then you
icon.
can- yeah.
Okay, that doesn't work. Not sure what's going on, so we got to tell it. So those things happen. Tags, knowledge base files. This doesn't seem to be good, or it's missing a scroll bar here. I'm not sure. Upload
It needs
text
like
files.
yeah.
All right.
It needs the little paper clip so people can click on it and upload. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes. Okay, let's take a screenshot for context. We can tell
I
it's-
like that tip of just take a shot and then talk about it with the AI.
Yeah.
That's good.
And you guys know I'm a big Snagit guy. I've been using it forever. It's, oops, I don't know why. Oh, I think because I changed the fill in here. So we want that to be transparent. This happens to me every now and then. There we go.
There.
So we're going to drag that over to the app. And we're going to say, also, I click the button on the top arrow and it's a dead button. Nothing happens. So I don't get any interaction in order to change the icon. And also you have the knowledge section, but you didn't add the ability for me to drag a file or open up a dialog box with my computer to find the file and upload it to the GPT. So we're going to add that to the queue, and let's read what it's saying right now, why it's still showing the poem. I can see the issue. You're looking at the public tools page, but the Evergreen blog post master GPT was created is only visible to admin. Where is that? Oh, it hid all that work that I was
There you
reading.
go. It was showing exactly what you had just shown us.
All right, so it's should be saying that it fixed it for us. Let's take a look.
There it
All
is.
right, there it is. So I'm not sure if I like this like this. I think I might prefer it looking like this, right? But this is nice. You can see it's looks like you can search. It'll probably work with the tags and all
Mhm.
that. Categories. It just made these up, so you can always say, "Hey,
Adjust.
yep,
Yeah.
exactly." So,
Yeah.
but now here's the thing.
I might even have the GP tools on the left, have it create a drop down so people can just quickly grab which one they need.
Yeah. Will this work? I'd be very surprised if this works out of the gate.
Let's give it a try.
Hello, I'm Evergreen Blog Post Master. I'm ready to help you. You can upload documents. Let's see. Does this work? Wow.
So
Interesting.
this particular one is made where they take their YouTube video and they upload the transcript, and then it creates a blog post where it embeds the video.
Okay.
So if you have a YouTube video, you could just grab the transcript and then pop that in.
I don't know why my computer's so slow today. I'm just typing go to YouTube. It's like there's a firewall.
Well, we're
or
doing a
something.
lot.
Yeah, but like it's just YouTube, right? Like that's very concerning. All right.
There we go.
So let's do this. Your Google traffic is dying. This
There you go.
actually what's
Find a nice short one.
new in Chat GPT-5?
There you go.
This
And that one's only
is
12 minutes, so
minutes.
that'll be
That
quick.
should do okay.
Yeah.
I've been using the new ChatGPT 5
I'm going to just take this and copy
Mhm.
as a transcript and okay, let's see. Maybe I should do this while it's working. Okay, it's done.
Okay.
Okay, now you see sometimes it's telling you go to your console logs and see if there's an error. So we'll come back here in just a minute. But what
And
did we
check that
tell it
again.
to do? And also before I told it there was a problem with these GPTs not having icons. Great, they've added the icons.
Oh, I
Great.
forgot that we can actually interact in that preview area too to test.
Yeah. All right. So let's just see if this is working right now. And let's just paste this in. And let's see. I guarantee you it won't work. I've never gotten OpenAI to work out of the gate.
Well, I got the thinking part correct.
Yeah. And we
Oh, I apologize, but I couldn't
yeah,
generate.
I knew
Yay.
it. And I'm telling you, it might be a problem with it doesn't know the current responses API. We're gonna have to fight it and fix it a little bit. I want to get that working for you. It's giving let's get this. Again, these little things, it takes 2 minutes to go and fix all this stuff, but you gotta, you don't need that there.
No,
And
exactly. You want
we'll tell it
yeah.
here, and let's go back before we send it down a rabbit hole. We told it to fix something, and it's asking us to go test it and debug it for us. So, ooh, icon picker closed. I don't know what that
Interesting.
is. That from here? I'm gonna just shut this off. I don't know if icon picker. I don't know. It's bugging me that that's there. Is that like
Yeah,
yeah, it's
could
just
just be
this.
because that color picker decided to no longer work.
Oh God. Is it on every page? No, it's I think he injected it.
Oh,
Icon picker, right. He said he added something in there. So that's the test that he's doing. Okay. This icon picker. Now I get it. Okay, so that's not working, as we
yeah.
said before. Oh, I see. There you go.
So you can search icons and it's got the tab to upload your own custom. That's nice. So we could
Yeah,
test
okay.
that.
I found out the problem. Watch what's happening.
Okay.
It's loading behind. You see? You could tell the whole screen went black when I
Yeah.
click here,
Mhm.
right? It's loading behind it. That's number one. So that we can fix, we know that. And the knowledge base, something telling me that like we're supposed to scroll here. So maybe this is supposed to have a scroll bar and you're supposed to be able to scroll down
To go
more.
further down. Yeah.
Yeah, this is where sometimes like being a little bit techie, you start understanding these things. That this is where you can help guide it, and that's just a skill that some people have over others. But we want to take this first one and say, okay, I found out the problem with the icon picker. When I click it, it does dim the dashboard with a light box, and it opens up the icon picker behind the current modal that I'm showing you. The second screenshot shows you the dashboard dimmed. So let's go back, create GPT, and now it'll be even darker. Is it obviously obvious which one's light and which one's dark? Yeah, it is. Okay.
Yeah, there's enough of a variation.
Yeah. So you have a hierarchy problem with the pop-up modal going behind the active modal. When you click on icon picker, it needs to be AKA moved to top. It needs priority over the pop-up modal that was there before that. Let's work on both of these things at the same time. Also notice in the third screenshot, the section for uploading files, am I supposed to be able to scroll down further, and maybe the pop-up modal that you have doesn't have a scroll bar or a scroll bar function? Or am I reading into it wrong and that pop-up modal does end there and you just haven't added any user interface options for me to upload something as knowledge?
Nice. That's nice and clear. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think what we're going to do, Amanda, we're going to get those things fixed and then get the actual GPT actually working. And then I
Yeah.
think we've accomplished a lot for today, that either I'll leave this up to you, either we'll do a part 2 and I'll continue. And by the way, we'll fork the app, so it'll always be safe. And if you want to mess with it and see how far you can go, you can. Because I think you're starting to get
I do.
what we're doing, right? Or we could leave it here and wait another week and I'll work on it next week with you. I would probably venture to say it's probably better that we do both. You can take it as far as you can and say, hey, Mike, this is what I did. And then we could decide, do we go back to my starting point, or do we pick up from your starting point?
And then just show the changes. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And here's the other thing that you can do in the meantime. As you're noticing, we could get a lot of things 90% there and work on the user interface and complete the app in terms of how it should look, the form, right? And then we could go back and fix the function. Hey, the API key isn't working. What's the problem here? The authentication so users can log in. But for the most part, you can start designing the app. I think you get the picture on how to do that. I don't know that I finished all the questions, so let me bring this back and see.
Well, okay, so where to find the replays? We've got that. And
Walter says, I don't have the AI command center. All right, let me just cheat here and just give it to you, Walter. It's if you don't have it, that's probably because your subscription canceled, and if you're still paying, let me know. But if there are different levels to the account, and some people got access to Workflow app only as because we gave the N8N work and the FlowWise to everyone, but only paid customers were getting access to the Notion document. But I'm just going to give it to you here. All right. I don't want to get into the weeds of that right there. All right. So let's go back and see. How do I get access to the trainings? Mike, would there be replays to access? We just went over that. Links from me, my phone number. Can you write your number, please? I did, Bjorn. 516-315-5835. I believe you saw it. Simon reposted it. Not seeing the link for the latest diagram. I did give that. Or did I not? Did I not?
You did. I reposted that also.
Oh, you posted it? Yep. Okay.
So Mike,
let me just knock out these last two questions, Simon, and that way I can put this away. Would it be possible to have other apps like courses.gg in the Workflow app where Groove and Groove AI is? All right, let me show this question so everybody can see it. So this question, copy. Well, that's weird. You can't copy from, maybe I got to right click. No. Wow, you can't copy.
interesting.
All right. So the question is, I'll just do it this way. This is what I'm reading. Would it be possible to have other apps like courses.gg in the Workflow app where Groove and AI is? I'm sorry, I don't understand what that means.
If I would take a guess, in Workflow app, you have links to the different apps. I think he just wants a link to Courses GG and stuff in there too. I don't know.
Yeah, we could do that. You can just type in Courses GG and stuff like that. I get what you're saying, but they're different subscriptions, and then I have to find out who bought it and who did it, and we're not going to do that logic.
Fair.
Sorry. I don't have the AI Command Center. Went through that. I belong to an AI community that's releasing this tomorrow in beta. What is Archon? Archon is a model context protocol server that creates centralized knowledge base for your AI coding agents, Claude code, etc. Okay. Not sure, Pat, what that is, but thank you. Awesome training. Got to drop off Zoom. Yep, you'll have the replay. I purchased. Very good. I purchased. Yeah. So you, Walt saying I did purchase. So Walt, send me your email address to 516-315-5835, and I'll see if we have to upgrade you or what might have happened. I thought in the past you added a document command so it would automatically document your steps. Not sure what that means. I would like to have the new calendar app be assembled from N8N to replace cal.com. Yep, well, stuff we won't talk about today, but I appreciate that. Yeah, that we are working on that, Matt and I both. Okay, that's all the questions. Simon, you were going to say something?
Yeah, I was gonna say that when you're posting, you have the setting to hosting panelists and not to everyone. So that's why people cannot see what you're posting. So that's why I reposted.
Oh, I was posting. Let me see. So you're telling me that
Was-
everything that I do when I go to the chat,
There's a there's a drop-down menu right above
let's
where
see,
you're
chat.
typing. There's a
Yep, host and panelists. I see. I needed to say everyone like this.
Yeah.
Okay. Now everybody sees it. Okay. Thank you, Simon. I appreciate that. So nobody was getting my links. All right. So here it says it fixed the picker, the scroll enhancement. So it looks like there was a problem. It wasn't scrolling. And it cleaned up the debug since it's been working. So let's do a refresh
and-
here.
Yeah, have a
Get
quick
rid of
boot, and then we can head on out.
Create GPT. Icon appearance. Choose icon. Smile.
Perfect.
Ah, damn it.
Oh, it's
You
not
see what's
clicking in there.
happening?
Yep,
Yeah.
I see. It's going behind. Yeah.
So let me get a screenshot.
So that's something for us to update later.
Oh,
Yeah.
and I can't even. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll fix that later. If you notice, what also happens is I can't even click on any of these things.
No,
Here,
the cancel's
nothing.
not working.
Yeah. So the only way out is to hit escape to close the previous modal, and then that.
And then
Okay, let me just see. Okay, they did add this. It
you
was a
can add
scroll
the file,
problem.
and
See?
it may be working or may not be working. We'll
Yeah.
see. Okay.
GPT created successfully. I don't know how that happened. All right, we got to fix the delete feature. So all I did was click choose file.
And it
And it
created an
creates,
extra.
yeah. So
Okay.
again, these are things that we could fix. The delete button isn't working, but that's okay. We're getting there. What I'm really concerned with is the last one that I want to do. Oh, what's weird is here, even because we're an admin. Okay, that's the problem.
Oh,
what is
yeah. But it shows the whole. Yeah.
What is this thing? Public tools. What is that? It's coming soon.
I don't know.
All right, we'll figure that out later. Let's start a chat. Bump. Let's just say hello.
Yeah. Hello.
We can get a response back without putting the full thing.
Exactly.
Oh, I think I actually never told it about the problem. I just took a screenshot before. I don't believe that I told it that there was an error.
I'm also going to be creating like video demos of each of the ones. So I want to work with it so that I can embed those in there as well. So they have training available.
All right, now watch what I'm going to do here, and then we'll be wrapping up soon.
Okay.
I'm going to say this. Okay, we are not getting a response back from OpenAI. We do have an API key in there. Please confirm to me before you do anything. Are you using the responses API, number one? Number two, what model are you using? Do not do any coding. Just get back to me with a quick answer. So the first thing we want to see is like, did it go back to its old ways?
Right. And the fact that it's still having to working to answer. Okay. Yeah.
Now I installed an MCP called Context 7 that allowed it to get like the latest documentation. Oh, look at this. See, watch this. No, I am not using the responses API. The code shows this, but the API doesn't exist. OpenAI doesn't have the responses API. See, this is the frustrating thing. I am using ChatGPT 5 mini, but this model also doesn't exist. Okay. So this is very, very frustrating.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to ChatGPT and did I do that and not save it? I might have used, I'm not even sure what this is. Okay. So let me see if I can go back here. And I know we had a lot of previous chats that I want to go back and find. Okay, this is where we started. Okay. So I'm going to say that means this is a complete fail. Earlier, I told you this. And what that means is you didn't hard code in enough information in this application for you to understand that your world model is out of date and that we are using the new responses API. ChatGPT is deprecating the assistance API, and a new model called ChatGPT 5 came out last week, and we're using GPT-5-mini. How can we, number one, get you to not make this mistake again? How can we make changes in the README.md, the replit.md, and hard code comments into the code to let you know when you come back to revisit in the future that your world model is out of date because you failed. You were supposed to do that before. Now, the problem is it can't get all of that stuff that I typed.
Oh, yeah. It's too long.
Babe, I'm on live. What's the matter? All right. Hey, Noodle.
Hello, Noodle.
Let's see. Where is she?
Hi.
Yeah, say hi.
Noodle.
Come here.
Noodle.
All right.
A friend of mine lost her cat, and I used ChatGPT, and it's now every day running twice a day searching for that cat, and it just automatically sends it to my email. It's amazing what AI can do.
Yeah. All right. Let me see if it actually got that. You were supposed to. Okay. No, it didn't get the additional
all of
stuff
it.
that I wrote. You're absolutely right, and I apologize for the critical failure. I need to immediately fix the OpenAI implementation and add proper documentation to prevent this. Now, I wonder if I should get complicated here and have it install the Context 7 MCP for you. Let's just see what happens here. Did you see my instincts were right where I said, let me ask it what? So it's like you're using this model, but it doesn't exist. It's like, oh man, we told it this would happen. Okay, see what it did here? It created a document called OpenAI criteria warning. Okay, that's good. And let's see, it added it to the Replit MD file. Okay, so this is what it had here before, critical. Now it says mandatory. So it put some more
Okay.
information, just trying to teach, because it's supposed to read that document before it starts each new session.
Right.
And so, and let's see, the server routes. Okay, good. You see, it put these comments here that hopefully critical for future agents. So this should protect it. That should be enough. All right, so now let's see if the app works. All right. It says it should work. Let's, I doubt it will. Usually it takes me like two, and that's okay. Normally it takes me, when it does work, I'm like, oh my God, a miracle. It friggin' worked.
You're like, what?
Um,
And
well, I
it's
gotta
got the
put a
little
timestamp.
paperclip down there. It's just nice.
Yep. Should be to the left, but that's okay. Okay. So we're going to say, let's see. That is what I get when I went to the Evergreen Blog Post Master GPT and I said hello. So what I need you to do is not make any assumptions from your old world knowledge on how the old chat completions API used to work. This is the most complicated part. And again, if I add the context 7, so what is context 7? Context 7, literally you can see everything is being up to date, like by the minute, OpenAI API documentation, and it's an MCP that it can go read and find the latest information. And so it has access to examples and everything here. So let me just see what this is right here. If I can actually just give it this. So let's see, OpenAI. Let me see. I can do this. I can go to this MCP server here. And I'm gonna do it this way for you and add it to your application. So let me copy this, save this, so I can reuse that again. That's that little text message right there. And I'm going to say, Sys context 7 MCP server on GitHub. Great. Now this is where it's going to actually do it right in the terminal commands.
Okay.
I'm sure you're familiar with MCP servers. I'm going to ask you to install an MCP server called Context 7. This is an MCP server that gives you access to the documentation of all of the web's SDK and APIs. And that way you can always use Context 7 whenever you need up-to-date information and coding examples. Please install it. The GitHub library is here. So I'm literally telling it to install it. Back in the day, I'd have to go to this library and I'd have to, and I don't know how to do this, right? I have to read this and install Next.js, do all these weird, different things. Yeah. So this will automatically just make like anything that it needs to do, from Stripe to SendGrid to anything. It's just going to be a complete genius and be able to handle everything. So if we look here at the console, we'll see that it's actually installing this right now.
Yeah, like that. We'll
See,
need to
now
like
it understands.
go through this whole thing and like pull out the tips that you did so everyone here can use those things as they're building their own apps.
Yeah, the sad thing with Replit is you have to add the MCP to every project. If you're using Cursor or Claude, the MPC can be global on your computer. So every time you start a new project, all of these MCPs are automatically known. Now, I don't know why it created Cursor, but I guess it thinks it has to work with Cursor. Okay, it's not working properly. Oh, by the way, we should sync with the remote.
Ah, yes.
We have to wait for it to do this next commit before we sync. Excellent. Context 7 server is now successfully installed and configured. Let me update the documentation to reflect that. Perfect. I've successfully installed Context 7. This is probably the biggest thing. I should have done this earlier. So it's done. We're going to sync with our GitHub. Okay. And now it's all stored over at GitHub. And what we're going to do, we are going to say what we have here. is where we were before. That's what we get when we're doing that. What I need you to do is not make any assumptions from your old world knowledge of Chat Completions API. As you know, we are using the latest responses API. And now that you have the Context 7 MCP, I want you to use the Context 7 MCP to look at the code and find out why the GPTs are not getting a response from the server, from OpenAI, and fix it. You should have everything you need to make this GPT function perfectly now. Now it's going to read this, like this is like the Matrix, like it's plugging in, I know Kung Fu. Like now it doesn't have to rely on its world knowledge. It's getting actual up-to-date
has it.
information. And
Yeah.
it's not me. See, the problem is when I give it this, OpenAI Responses API. When I give it like this page right here, it only gets this page, but it doesn't know this page, this page, this page, this page, this page. So this MCP is a way for it to think like a developer and actually be able to now not have to go scrape the web, but it's actually talking to an endpoint that it knows everything. And you can see, look how fast it's writing. So let's just because we have time while it's working, I can see that OpenAI client uses responses endpoint, and it's even saying I was doing this the wrong way. The correct implementation. Now I need to find the correct syntax. So you see, even though it had access to the docs, it didn't know the syntax. Now it does. Perfect. I can see the object has create method. All these things, it didn't know how to use the files and all that. And we would have been here for hours trying to feed it more information from here. But now it knows. It uses output text, not output. It knows everything now. And it should work. And then we built the foundation of your application. And now that I think, honestly, Amanda, the rest you might be able to take care of if we got it to the point where this thing works.
Mm-hmm. I know, like, fingers crossed.
Yeah. And the thing is this is on my Replit and it's private. So what I'm going to do temporarily, I'll get with you maybe after I eat and stuff like that. I'll hit you up today or tomorrow, whatever, hopefully today in the next hour. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it public and then you're going to see it and you're going to import it and then you'll have it and then I'll lock it back down to private again.
Okay. Sounds
all right.
good.
The only thing is once I make it public, it strips out things like all the data in the database, my API token. It's almost like a template starter kit. So it'll say, oh, you need an API key for this. All right. So it's saying that it's working properly. Let's sync that with GitHub. And by the way, I could probably just share this with you in GitHub as well, and then you could just import it. But I think just forking it with Replit will be the easier way. All right, let's hit the hard refresh button here.
All right.
And let's see. Now it can clean up these chat bubbles. They're a little boring looking, you know. Still going to be a miracle if it works, but let's see.
Yeah, we can always make things look prettier later.
Yeah, we didn't get the response.
No.
I can continue to work on this myself tonight and then
If
get it to you working.
are okay to work on it first, since you understand that.
Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll get it working with OpenAI and we'll call it a wrap from here. And then once I get that, I'll get it transferred over to your Replit account.
And then we can do
$20 a month, I think.
Yeah, a follow-up later to show what you did.
Yeah.
What we did.
Yeah, then from there, you know, if you have like a spreadsheet with the instructions, you know, we can just upload all the GPTs and all that. All right.
That sounds cool.
All
Thank
right,
you for
everybody.
letting me be your guinea pig.
Yeah, and my pleasure. So what's the time here? It's 4:38. So we went 3 hours and 10 minutes today, kind of like what I thought we would do. But yeah, I knew this was going to be long because first of all, I had to get the understanding of what you wanted to create and watching. I've always say, you know, working with AI is like watching paint dry. We have to wait and tap dance in between the pitches of the baseball. We have to say it's a beautiful day here today in Ebbets Field, right? You know, so we have to come up with all that stuff. And I think we did a good job today. I want to thank everybody for coming.
Yes.
And we'll get this replay posted up pretty soon as well. And we'll announce the next workflow app training day coming up soon as well. All right, Amanda, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Simon. I appreciate it. And have a good day, everybody. Take care. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and we'll exit the Zoom. And I believe it was recording. Yes, it was. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.